Hey, what's happening in San Diego? Welcome into it. A little Thursday get-together here on San Diego's number one sports station. That would be 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios, also known as the Bill House Studios, where we know how. Tony Gwynn Jr. is idle today, as are the Padres. We will be with you for the next 3 hours. At that time, the voices of reason will take over the airwaves. Between 5 and 6 o'clock today, you can hear all of us experts on 97.3 The Fan discuss in a very calm and measured tone the struggles of your San Diego Padres offense. That will be from 5 to 6 p.m. today. That is known as the Epic Padres Roundtable. It is brought to you by Epic Wings. Notice how I said that the realistic, measured, calm tone will take place between 5 and 6. Because from now until 5 o'clock, there will be nothing calm and measured.
What are you talking about?
About discussing the disaster that is the San Diego Padres offense right now. Scraby, let me open up the show by reading you the definition of the word slump. It is spelled S-L-U-M-P.
I'm aware.
It was a word that was brought up, maybe 150 times during the Padre Roundtable earlier today. First definition of the word slump is when somebody slouches over. They call that they're slumping.
I have done that in my life.
Right. I don't believe that is what we're referring to here.
Just
a fall in the price, value, sales, etc. of something is also called a slump, as in there's been a slump in the demand for new cars. Here's another definition or another variation, a period when industry or the economy is in a bad state and there's a lot of unemployment. That would be an economic slump. How about this, Scraby? A period when somebody is tired and does not have much energy. That defines you and I often.
I don't consider that being a slump.
You don't. Well, that's
I'm just tired and no energy.
You're just tired and have no energy. Here's the one we might be looking for in sport. A period when a team or player is performing badly. Here's the problem with that definition of the word slump. The Padres right now are not even performing badly on offense. They are performing historically awful right now on offense. And I think, as it stands, following yesterday's shutout loss to the Phillies, which, honestly, when you looked at it, wasn't that the only way that game was going to go? You're facing a pitcher who hasn't given up a run in a month and a half. You're facing a pitcher who is about to set the all-time Major League record for most consecutive scoreless innings pitched by a left-handed pitcher. You did not think he was going to give up a run to this offense, did you? You hoped, you were cajoling, you were hoping and praying that maybe somebody'd kick a ground ball somewhere, maybe somebody'd get sawed off and a ball would fall in for a blue pit, but you knew damn well they were getting shut out yesterday. I, right now, Scraby, would settle for a slump. This is not a slump. This is an out-and-out catastrophe offensively for the San Diego Padres. Or do you think it is simply a slump when a team is 0 for 35 hitting with runners in scoring position? Do you call that a slump when a team hasn't had a hit with a man on second or third base for a week? Not a game, not a series, a week. Do you call it a slump, only a slump, when the team through 1/3 of the entire season has the worst batting average in baseball, has the worst on-base percentage in baseball, has the second worst slugging and OPS percentages in baseball? And do you call it a slump when their overall offensive numbers are far better than their recent offensive numbers, which in the month of May can only simply be described as offensive? The team is hitting .218 overall. They're 22 points below that in May. They were 36 points below that on the just completed 9-game homestand. Do you call it a slump when over the span of 9 games, they get exactly one base hit that drives in a run? They scored 19 runs in this homestand. 13 of them came in on home runs. 4 of them came in on various ground outs and sacrifice flies and hit by pitch. They had only one hit in 9 games with a runner on base somewhere that bounced into open territory and brought a man home. Is that a slump, or is that an epidemic? Do we need to honestly get into some of the singular performances that are happening right now? Sure, why not? Is it a slump when Fernando Tatis Jr., considered one of the most dynamic players in baseball, steps into the batter's box tomorrow in Washington, D.C., and it will be the 249th time that he steps into a batter's box without having hit a home run? Does that sound like just a player performing a little bit below average? 249 times without a home run. And if you think, well, that's just one of those weird things, how about that same Fernando Tatis Jr. over the last 22 games has one extra base hit, and that was a double? Is it a slump when Hall of Fame bound Manny Machado's OPS in the month of May is 344 points below his career average? Is that just a slump? 344 points. Of the 13 players that are potentially in the lineup every day, there's 13 pitchers on a roster, 13 hitters. Of those 13, only one player in the month of May had a higher OPS than his career average. Only one, and that was Gavin Sheets. The other 12 are either the same, and that's referring to guys like Rodolfo Duran, Bryce Johnson, people like that who don't really have a lot of at-bats, Sun Moon Song, or they're way worse. 8 of the 13 are more than 100 points below. 5 more are 200 points below. Is that just a slump? We could go on. I have pages and pages of this stuff. The bottom line is, I think it's getting a little hilarious now that we just show up here every day and find little excuses, little reasons for hope, and we appease ourselves with, well, it's just kind of a tough time. We got to hang in there. I mean, I understand that might be the case, but isn't there a time when we realize that there's more here at work than just a slump? It's a slump. This isn't a slump. A slump's when you go, you lose 7-8 games in a row and, you score 15, 16 runs. You're still getting a hit here and there. I can't really appease myself with what I'm seeing anymore. And I know Manny Machado's baseball card does not list any numbers that look anything like this. And if you aren't concerned, and I mean concerned, about Fernando Tatis Jr. If you just think that he's going to, pop a home run tomorrow and all of a sudden he's going to get rolling and back to what he is, you're not paying attention to what's happening out here. This is a man who used to homer every 18 plate appearances. That was a 6-year window. That 18 has become 249. When was the last time you saw somebody throw a fastball to Fernando Tatis Jr. and he got the head of the bat out and pulled it into left field with some authority? I haven't seen it. But you know what, Chris? The analytics say he hits the ball hard. Okay, well, then go ahead and appease yourself with that. Whatever it takes. The bottom line is there's something more. It's more at work here than just a little slump. I mean, tomorrow maybe they break out. They're playing the Washington Nationals. The Nationals have allowed more runs than any team in baseball. So at the end of this weekend, if they continue along the stretch they're in, can we then say that we're concerned? Doesn't really matter who pitches against this team, does it? Aaron Nola's ERA was 6. It's not just Christopher Sanchez shutting them down. All right, that's kind of where I'm at today.
Can I go home?
When we come back, now that I've complained about it, now that I've brought it all to our attention, and there's so much more I didn't even get to, let's talk about what we're going to do. Because to me, just sitting around and calling this a slump is hardly a call to action that we need. Gwynn and Chris is underway for a Thursday. Scraby may go home. I hope the rest of you hang in. We'll try to figure this all out. We've got until 5 o'clock on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was going to say it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, "Are they cheesy?" No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it, with dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right. I got to stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm going to leave them here, though, because I will eat this if I go home. It's just going to be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right. It's time for the beaver nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the beaver nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name beaver nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was going to say it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say. I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a, what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all, actually. They're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the.
I'd have mountains more on the slump that is the San Diego Padres offense. Welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 2:18 is the time. All right, it's one thing to sit and rant and rave and complain. It's another thing to try and find some solutions. The fact of the matter is there are 7 games left in the season. So we have a couple of choices, Scraby. The first of those 107, by the way, is tomorrow afternoon in D.C. So we can sit here and just keep rolling this out there and just hoping it goes away. And it's just kind of it's just the normal course of things in baseball. You get hot, you get cold. But I just don't know that you get cold over a 55-game span. I mean, they've been cold the whole season. And that's when I start thinking, something's going to have to change. Craig Stammen's tried every lineup combination. He doesn't have anybody else on the current roster that he can put in. We brought this up the other day. Remember the 4 guys that were all sitting out in the game against the Phillies? Not one of them had an average over 180. So wasn't like he was leaving good guys on the bench. So what are we going to do about this? And I think to answer nothing, isn't exactly the best way to go. I mean, to me, 55 games is a little more than a slump. This is what this team is right now. They are granted 31-24. They have a bullpen that is unbeatable. They have a, starting rotation, guys like Walker Buehler and Griffin Canning losing games when they pitch 7 innings and allow 1 hit. But hell, these guys are keeping into the game 99% of the time. And to me, what was once remarkable and exciting and thrilling has turned into a bit of a fugazi. And what I'm talking about is all of the dramatic miracle wins they've had this year. Where would they be without a 6-run ninth inning against the Mariners? Where would they be without, Gavin Sheets hitting 3 game-winning 3-run home runs in the span of 2 weeks? Where would they be without Castellanos out of nowhere with 2 strikes, sticking one into the stands against the Cardinal closer who hadn't given up a home run in 2 years? I mean, honestly, if that's what you're counting on to win, that seriously is not going to continue, and we're seeing that now. It's not continuing now. So I think it's, using one of my favorite words, a bit of malpractice to just sit idly by here and go, well, it's just a slump. I mean, something's got to change. I think something's got to be different. Let's talk about ridiculous things first, and then we'll try to come to things that make more sense. But when Cal Raleigh this year went 0 for 38, what did he do, Scraby? Jumped in the shower with his clothes on, or his uniform on, before the game, went out and got a couple of hits, and then I think he got sick. He ended up on the injured list. I thought of this because the Padres are in an 0 for 35 slump with runners in scoring position. Maybe the whole team needs to dance in there tomorrow. I looked at the 0 for 35, by the way. 11 different guys in that span have had a chance to drive in a run with runners in scoring position. It's not just Manny, 0 for 6. It's not just Merrill, 0 for 6. It's not just Castellanos, 0 for 4. It's not just Sheets, 0 for 4. Andujar, 0 for 3. France, 0 for 3. Bogarts, 0 for 3. It's everybody. So I don't know that we're going to be tossing everybody's uniform on and jumping into the shower before the game tomorrow. But something's got to be different. The lineup, that's just a little cosmetic fix. We keep trying that anyway. So number one, we make a trade, we acquire somebody to change things up. I think Tony Gwynn Jr., one of the really good things that he said was pointed out to me on the roundtable today. Because I wasn't here Friday when he said it, Scraby. You probably remember it. But talking about making a big trade for a big bat, Tony pointed out the fact that because it is the star players that are struggling so bad, if you got a bat, who would you take out? You're never going to take Manny or Fernando or Merrill or Bogarts out. And they're the guys that are killing you the most. So if you went out and got a bat, you'd have to take out Sheets and Duhar, France. But these are the guys that are actually doing the job. So, yeah, acquiring a bat sounds like a prudent thing to do. But even if you could guarantee that whatever bat you acquired came in here and changed everything, don't really know that you'd have a lot of room for one. So I don't know that they're going to go that route. Maybe they'll acquire a bat. Maybe they'll put Laureano on the bench, make him a fourth outfielder. Certainly Castellanos experiment. I've been down this road all year, and I've taken nothing but grief for it. But you go ahead and keep putting him in. That's fine. You want 186? You want 2 big swings of the bat in 55 games? Because that's what he's given you. Then continue with Castellanos. And don't forget the fact that no matter what he does at the plate, he hurts you in the field. I mean, to me, that experiment was probably one that should have never been made in the first place, but it didn't cost any money. But now, maybe it's time we come to grips with that. Freddie Fermin no longer is a major league catcher. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not picking on anybody. I can give you whatever numbers you want to support all of this. He's 0 for 22. He has 3 RBIs the entire season. He is a flat. You'd be better off having a pitcher bat ninth right now. How long are you going to roll him out there? The Freddie Fermin was a backup catcher his entire career in the Royals. And in short spurts, he could do the job. And he showed us that last year when he got here. Month and a half, short spurt, did a pretty good job. But he's not an everyday catcher in Major League Baseball. Really? Is that being overly critical? Is there anybody who disagrees with that? Ethan Salas deserves a shot, and he deserves it now. And if he comes up and goes 0 for 25, and you have to send him back, and he's that soft that 0 for 25 ruins his mental approach forever, then so be it. I think you've got to take a chance now. You can't possibly tell me he could do worse. The problem with bringing Salas up now, again, was brought up on the roundtable, and it's a good point by, I think, Woodsy. If you bring him up while they're struggling so badly right now, people are going to look at him as if he's the savior. And that would be completely unfair. What you'd like to do is get the offense going a bit and then bring him up and let him mix in with what's happening. But you may not have that choice. Jace Bowen, Jose Miranda, I don't know. These are all guys at AAA that could probably do better than some of the ancillary players that we have right now. But beyond that, the only other thing I can even think of is to start talking about the hitting coach. And I am not trying to pick on this guy, Steven Souza Jr. It's his first season. Whatever his approach is with this team, I don't think it's his fault that it's not working. We already went over the numbers individually. Every single guy in this team is doing worse than they normally do. But are we just going to keep going with that? Craig Stammen came out with the vote of confidence yesterday. We know what happens after votes of confidence, don't we? I don't want to fire this guy and make him the fall guy for what's happening. But maybe a different voice is needed. I'm not talking about the X's and the O's and the working in the cage and getting your shoulder up and going to the opposite field. I'm pretty sure every hitting coach teaches all of that. I'm talking about just whatever the right thing to be said, whatever the right attitude, whatever the right mental approach is. Maybe somebody else needs to try it. I thought the Phillies were idiotic for firing a World Series manager in Rob Thompson when they were 9-19. Doesn't look like the dumbest move ever made now. Or we could just continue on and say it's a slump. More Gwynn and Chris is up next. What do we got, Scrape? Where are we going to go away from baseball? When's our soccer guy today?
3:40. But we could do this off the air, but you don't have any notes on the scorecard?
I didn't do one because I didn't watch the game.
Well,
and
you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, the only way I can do a notes to scorecard is to be writing stuff down as the game's going on. And I mean, I watched it on replay last night, but I didn't do that.
Sorry, everyone. I tried.
Oh, you wanted me to? I know he wanted me to do one.
No,
it's
not
that
me. I don't care. It's the
not
people were asking.
Yeah, this is my notes on a scorecard. These are the only notes I have.
Uplifting, Chris.
There's nothing uplifting about what's happening. I mean, if you tuned in to, for me to massage everybody's feelings, I don't know that today's the day for it.
I don't think you're saying anything wrong. I just think you sing a different tune some days.
Yes, I do. I do most of the time. 99% of the time, I'm more than willing
you were going to
be patient.
But we didn't try to fix it in this last segment.
What I just say? I said it's time to bring up Bowen. I think it's time to bring up Salas. I think it's time to cut loose Castellanos and Fermin. I think it's time to
You're ready to overhaul this entire team?
You just said come up with some possible solutions, and you said I didn't.
You're right.
And I'm telling you that I did.
All right. I back off on that.
I didn't tell them to do any of this.
I'm suggesting?
I'm not going to go fire Souza tomorrow, but there has to come a time when you need some different voice somewhere, when the whole team is in a collective disaster.
Do you think, because I got this message a couple times yesterday, but everybody wants Fernando to go down to Lake Elsinore. And I really don't think that's the right thing to do. Because what he does at Lake Elsinore, what he does at the major league level, I'd rather him be in the major league lineup than a low A lineup.
Yeah, I haven't even gone that crazy. And, I'm pretty on a crazy, pace today.
Yes, you are.
I'm not going to go that crazy.
Thank you.
But
at least you're not ready for that.
If he goes down to Lake Elsinore, single A, you're going to put him in single A. I bet you he'll start getting around on a fastball there.
I was going to say the ball might look like
change
a beach ball.
Anything.
It might look. I guess I get the concept that he's going to see easier pitching, so he's going to be able to hit the ball better. But I don't think it works that way.
I don't see how you're going to get confident beating up single A pitching. I know when I try to golf at Torrey Pines and I shoot a 115, and so the next week I schedule Mission Bay and I ace the course because it's a little tiny pitch and putt. That doesn't help me the next time I go out to Torrey Pines, because I'm at the big league level now.
But when you were at Mission Bay, you refined your skills.
Whatever.
Fernando could be refining his skills. For the record, again, I am not for Fernando. I'd rather him be in the big league lineup. And by the way, Chris, he's actually, I know he's not hitting for power, which is something he needs to work on, but he is actually hitting. He's the only guy in the lineup hitting now.
For $38 million, I'll take more than one double every 22 games.
Well, he's not making 38.
Whatever. They all make so much money. It really is immaterial.
Yeah,
but
we can't argue about.
Nobody can argue with the fact we are not paying Fernando Tatis Jr. to go 7 for 18 with 6 infield rollers up the third baseline.
I will argue on that because
go ahead.
They are going to put him at the leadoff spot, which takes away all of his RBI ability, except for a solo shot. And then later in the game, if people
I didn't talk about RBIs. I just talked about hitting the ball with some authority. Scraby, he's got 1 double in 22 games. That is not all bad luck. And you're talking about some of the hits he has lately. Yes, I'm viewing them in my mind. Almost every single one of them are rollers up the third baseline or bouncers to shortstop that he beats out. I'm not seeing any, maybe here and there. He's so far away from Fernando Tatis Jr. right now, I don't know if anybody could fix it. And Manny Machado, too, and the rest of them. More Gwynn and Chris coming up. We'll keep it going.
Bennett.
the best thing would be no baseball at all.
You have just gone too far, sir.
I think so, but that could be on the horizon as we welcome you back. 2:39 on Gwynn and Chris with no Gwynn. He and the Padres are idle today. We'll pick everything up tomorrow in Washington, D.C., and I don't really have a whole lot to add on the Padres. I could regurgitate everything I just gave you the first half hour. But if somebody called you and said, yeah, Chris is coming clean on the Padres, you might want to flip over and listen. If you missed it, just go back and listen. There's not a lot more to add. It's a horrendous stretch that I think something needs to be done. And I know everybody says, well, what are you going to do? I don't know, but I'm not going to just sit around and go another 55 games and hit like this, because they're not going to go 31-24 again.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
It was honestly 2 weekends ago, we were singing the praises of this offense in Seattle where they're hitting home runs and they're scoring a bunch of understand, Chris, about your take, which it's not a bad take. It's what it is. This is you're spitting facts.
A take.
No, okay, you're spitting facts is what I'm trying to say.
This is not a take.
Okay, yes, okay.
This is not an opinion. None of what I said was an opinion.
No, what I'm saying is, though, this could easily turn around, and you of all people have taught me that over the years.
There's no question that what they did in Seattle 2 weeks ago was a really nice offensive weekend.
It was.
But those are starting to become the exception,
and I agree.
Not the rule. And I'm as patient as anybody, but maybe 55 games is enough for my patience. You know, like I said, I don't really feel like waiting another 55 games to hit 218.
But what if they keep winning?
I don't think they will. And you don't think they will either.
You're right. But they do? Are you okay with it?
Am I okay? What, if they keep winning?
Okay, being okay is a weird way to put it, but are you able to look past the offensive woes if they keep winning?
And I think most people have been doing that.
Yes.
Most people have been doing just that.
Yes.
But when I look at the 31-24, I see 6 or 7 wins that were pretty damn exciting / unbelievable.
That's true.
And, you know, I'm not going to say if, you can't take them away. They did them. They won them.
But if you take away the Mariners.
They'd be 24-31. So if that was the case, and this is why I brought this up early in the week, if they were 24-31, I think everything I said today would be like not even enough. But they're 31-24, so we're living with it. But I don't think we can keep going here. Something's got to be different. And if you need some sort of infusion of a couple of young players just to change the faces, then maybe that's it. If you need to bring somebody in, who's a different voice to talk hitting, maybe that's it. If you need to, make a trade, again, I think the trade is a tricky one because I don't know who you're going to replace. But they've got to try something here. I mean, right now everybody's going to say, well, it's okay. Let's not overreact and nothing crazy. Okay, well, are we going to feel that way on, July 23rd? That's another 55 games. 55 games is not a small sample size.
It's not, but it hasn't been this way the entire season. It's been bad for a little bit now, but it hasn't been this way all year.
The entire month of May. Do you want me to go through it again?
No, I don't, please.
Okay.
I guess I'm just...
8 of the 13 guys who bat, 8 of them in the month of May are at least 100 points below their career.
Yeah, it's bad.
OPS.
It's very bad. 2
of those guys don't count because Rodolfo Duran and Sun Mung Song have only played in the month of May.
But they're not doing much anyway.
And they're not doing anything. Ty France is at least close. He's only 22 points off. And Duhar's only 58 points off. And we think he's good.
He's come back to earth.
So he's even below. But 8 of the other 10 are over 100 or 200 points. Or in Manny's case, 370 points below. That's a month of baseball. I'm not taking a homestand. I'm not even taking 2 weeks. I'm taking a whole month.
I guess What I said last night is I went through and I looked for different teams that had been through big old losing streaks during seasons and if they made the playoffs. And then last year, the Padres they got double swept, back-to-back series swept. And honestly, I didn't even remember it. So if they keep winning, this will just be one of those. Remember how bad they were?
Well,
Let's hope.
Right. Well, let's also, but maybe we need to do something now so we can look back and say, remember how it was when that was the case? I don't think you can keep doing the same thing and expect a different result.
I agree with that.
And the result for 55 games are you are the worst hitting team in baseball. Period. End of story. There's no argument to that. It is not an opinion.
It's stats. It's what is on the MLB website.
So you want to keep, you're kind of trying to see, you don't understand my take.
No.
But I don't have a take. I have a position where I sat in the round table today and I love all these guys. And I think most everybody was a little tempered in what they were saying. But for the most part, the opinion was, hey, this is baseball. I don't know that this is baseball. Slumps are slumps, but I don't know if I identify this as a slump anymore. I'm starting to identify this as the way it is. A slump would be if they hit 300 for a month and a half and then hit 200, and I'd say, wow, they're in a slump. But they hit 220 in April, and now they're hitting 180 in May, so that qualifies as a slump. But it's pretty much the same.
Someone said you brought up the league-wide batting average this morning. Do you remember what that number was?
I did. The league-wide batting average in 1968.
Oh, 1968.
The worst season of hitting ever. So bad that the next year they lowered the mound. And by the way, 1968 was the last baseball season where there was no Padres. Padres came in the next year, too.
Interesting.
69. But the batting average across baseball that year was 237. That's how awful it was. This year across baseball, it's 239. So, and I brought that up on the roundtable today. It is not just the Padres necessarily. We talked about this the other day with the Yankees had the third worst record or third worst batting average against starting pitching. This is the Bronx Bombers who were scoring 15 runs a game or so, we think.
For a while, it didn't even seem like they lost the game.
Right. The Cubs have their 10-game losing streak. They couldn't get a hit at all. Finally, yesterday, they won a ball game. Ohtani, the greatest player in the history of the game, had 4 home runs until, a couple of weeks ago.
Until he became Ohtani again.
Well, I'm just saying, so it's down across baseball, and I think that's why I'm not saying to trade, blow the whole thing up. I just don't know that we can keep along these lines and expect the same result we got, which was 31-24. And by the way, 31-24 doesn't look as good now because the Diamondbacks are tied with us.
Yeah, they've had a pretty good stretch.
So,
they won 9 out of their last 10 games?
I mean, don't look now, but we now have company at the top of the wild card. And we also have 4 teams that are within a game and a half of our record. So, we were sitting in a kind of a comfy spot there for a bit.
Not anymore.
We're not right now.
Let me ask you this, because AJ Castle put out an article today listing his top needs and for the trade deadline now that it's almost becoming trade season. And he said that they need a lefty bat. And he said, I know that Gavin Sheets is on this team, but is Gavin Sheets having a hot start, or is this who he could be? Like, what do you think? Do you think they need to go trade for another power left-handed bat?
Well, we talked about this already. So if I say yes, and we get a power lefty bat, and I don't even know who that is, but let's say we find him, where are you putting him in? Who are you taking out?
I don't.
Laureano out? Is that it? Because Cronenworth's going to come back. So hopefully, so when he comes back and Fernando goes to right field, you're going to take Laureano out? You're going to take Merrill out? You're going to take Machado out?
No.
I don't have the answer to you. And if you get a lefty bat, you're going to take Sheets out at first base? Or maybe you just don't bring Jake back and you get somebody who can hit and play second base and you just give up on Jake entirely. Or you find a catcher that somehow can hit 400, which doesn't really exist. The ones that do, Shea Langeliers, I'm sure are not available. So that's why I brought up Ethan Salas. Salas, Braden, I'm going to give Braden a lot of credit. Everybody had good things to say on the roundtable today. We're all trying to, wrap our minds around this. Braden said something I thought made a lot of sense. He said, Ethan Salas has already gone through a lot of tough times. He's been the number one prospect and fallen to 100 or below. And he's battled his way back from that. He's battled his way back from injury. So maybe Ethan Salas, even though he's young, has the mind to be able to withstand going 0 for 20 and not have it ruin his career, as everybody's concerned will happen.
I think I think the Padres might be more concerned about starting his clock.
Whatever that may be, that part don't get me involved.
Because if you bring him up for 20 games, then you've started his clock, and then he becomes he gets out of the arbitration.
Do you want to win some games or not?
Hey, the Padres have never been a team that has worried about that.
Well, then
teams do worry about that.
Yes, I don't know that the Padres do. I don't think they feel Ethan Salas is ready to hit at the big league level. Unfortunately, they have about 6 guys on the roster right now that you could almost make the same definition.
Can Campy's toe get better? That might help a little bit.
Isn't it sad that we're begging for the return of a guy that didn't have a hit last year? But yeah, he could be back.
I don't think it's sad, but it is ironic.
It is a little ironic.
Don't you think?
Yes, Alanis.
What were we going to do here?
Well, I started by talking about the fact that Padre baseball, as tough as it is to watch right now, is still preferable to no baseball.
Yes.
And I bring that up because we all know that in December or November, sometime right after the season ends, the entire focus of baseball is going to be on whether or not they're going to be able to get a new collective bargaining agreement. That's going to be it. We're not going to care about anything else. We're going to follow our fantasy football team, and we're going to pray that baseball can get its bleep together.
Yes.
Well, the baseball owners, I will give them this much. They did give a proposal today to at least open the conversation. Makes sense. It's May. Why wait until December? So I appreciate that. But under the proposal they gave, there would have to be a hard salary cap. And unless, and we can go through all the numbers. I'm not really into all of the 171 million or not exceeding 245 million or whatever those.
Well, I do think those are important.
Well, that's fine, but I'm not into it. The bottom line.
That's the whole basis of the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, well, let them worry about what the numbers are. The bottom line is the last time the baseball owners proposed a hard salary cap was 1994. The result of that was a 7.5-month strike that forced the cancellation of the World Series. It also forced only a half of a season the next year in 1995. So, again, you want to go on the numbers, you do that. I'm looking at this. What has changed in the minds of the players since 1994/95 that's going to make proposing a hard salary cap doable? Because that's the bottom line here. Again, like you said, you want to talk numbers? Fine. They can work out whatever the millions they got to discuss. Who's going to split up the billions of dollars they have? There's plenty of money to go around. We know that. I know that. You know that. So you want to make the salary cap $300 million, $250. It doesn't matter until the Players Association changes its opinion of a hard salary cap. None of this matters. Just doesn't. So I'm not saying doomsday. I'm saying somebody explain to me what's changed in the minds of the players from the last time a firm salary cap was proposed. What? Common sense? Good tidings? They're all in a happier mood.
I will give the owners.
What's changed?
I'll give the owners this, even though I'm not on the owner's side, until they change some of their demands. They did say they were going to split TV revenues, which is actually a kind of a big concession for the owners to do. But I think that's their, hey, here's our olive branch. Here's our salary cap that we want.
Of course. In any negotiation, you throw a bunch of stuff out there to try to cloud the real issue.
Yes.
I'm getting to the issue. They have to have a hard salary cap. The players, unless something's changed that I don't know about, are not going to accept it. So, we can have Padre baseball, which, as I said, is still preferable to no baseball.
I can't do Stratomatic season again. I can't do it. Daily Gambit next.
the 3 o'clock hour?
Yes, because we could talk about this off the air, but we're talking about it now. I can't keep up with making new ones. So instead of just replaying the same old ones over and over and over, we only play 2 a show.
Why don't you show me how to do one? How long do you think it would take me to do one if you taught me how to do it?
I'm not saying this to be a jerk. But
yeah, say it. I'm asking. I'm opening myself an hour and a half just to do one.
Yeah.
But how many?
You get faster.
I don't mind an hour and a half. What I mind is how many days and months would it take me for you to actually teach me how to do it?
If you really wanted to do it, I would teach you next week.
We'll see how that goes. 3:01 is the time. Hour number 2. Chris,
it's not about making it. I like making them. I need suggestions on clips.
Yeah, they're great.
So
but they need to be funny and they need to be good. And I understand that. They don't just they happen mostly organically. I understand that. All right. Welcome back. Either way, we are back on the show. Tony's in DC, and he, like the Padres, is idle today. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios. In this hour, some soccer. It is Thursday. It is our soccer day. And are we into the full World Cup stoppage now?
No.
Are there still any? I don't know that there's any MLS matches left. Before Brian Dunseth will be with us from Apple TV in a little while. But I think that maybe the break, although troubling for like a 2-month break, might be exactly what SDFC needs. It's just the way their season has gone. You know, to me, the team is just about as good as it was last year, except for the results. Like it's, you know, so hopefully a little time off will change their mojo. But we'll talk a little soccer a little later in this hour. Right now, we got Daily Gambit coming up, and I'm looking forward to that. Before we get to that, though, Scraby, I want to ask you, I'm a little concerned after the first hour of the show. And my comments on the outstanding offensive performance of the Padres this year. Did my weekly check arrive from the Padres front office?
Oh, actually, I was pretty quiet over here because I was filling in my bank information because they dropped you and they hired
me.
And they hired me.
You know,
because now you know, Chris, I am the shill now.
You're now the shill.
I'm the shill.
It is one of the most annoying things that any of us deal with on this station. The fact that you all think that we honestly get paid separately by the Padres to only say nice things about them. And so I'm just, you know, since we are supposed to get paid, I'm assuming that they're going to take this week off for me because I didn't really have anything nice to say in the first hour of the show
this week.
But I will try to shill again next week for the Padres. You know, it's interesting, and I'll speak right to it straight up and be honest about it. This is our, 9th year on this show, Tony and I and you and everything. And in 9 years, all of the things we've said about the Padres, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, do you know how many times somebody from the Padres has contacted me directly and say, hey, Chris, can you be a little more fair about this? Can you promote this or say that or maybe go about it a little differently? You know how many times that's happened in 9 years? 0. Padres have never done that.
Nope.
And I respect them for it.
Of course.
They understand that we, like most of you, want to see them be successful.
They want to hit.
But they also understand, I think, that when they're not being successful, we need to point it out. And I do want to say one last thing that Ted Leitner brought up over and over today. And by the way, if you haven't ever heard a roundtable, today's the one to tune into because Teddy Ballgame was our guest celebrity guy on there. And I mean, the Hall of Fame, voice of Ted, definitely. Padre Hall of Fame. But he was great and he was hilarious. He told a bunch of funny stories. But the one thing he said is something I've said for a while now, which is, quote, this is the golden age of Padre baseball.
I did hear him say that.
It straight up is. The last 7 years have been as good as any stretch ever in this organization's history. And that includes what's even happening this year, the struggles they're going through. So, and his point, which I certainly understand, is let's enjoy it. I'm just not enjoying, some of the numbers that are going along with trying to enjoy it right now.
It is a hard watch.
So
it's a really hard watch.
All right.
3 runs this week, Chris. Did you know that?
I don't know. There's so many different ways to say it's bad. It's just a matter of how you want to break it down. Let's do some Daily Gambit. We got a great night of NBA. I love an elimination game, and we'll have that and get a little Paul Skeens outing to discuss in the Daily Gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. And we are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios where we know how. We had made some bets the other day. OKC minus 4.5 against San Antonio. We both went OKC. OKC won by 13. Yes, 13. So we win the bet. Over under 217.5 on this one. We both went over. I put 541 was the combined score. That's not true. It was actually 241.
It was over either way.
It was over either way. So we win that one. SGA, who had more points? SGA minus 4 or Wemby? You went SGA. I went Wemby. SGA scored 32, so minus that 428. Wemby only 20, so you win that one. Caruso over under 10.5 points. I went under. You went over. He had 22. You win that one.
He went over in the first 6 minutes of the game. Caruso's been honestly the MVP of the series to this point, if you ask me.
Probably. I mean, he's been pretty good.
Oh, he's been great on both ends.
I was going to try to come up with some great thing to say, but I couldn't.
If you're rooting for the Spurs, I mean, you can't stand the guy, but that's exactly what.
Why? Yeah, you need to.
That's the kind of guy you want on your team.
Yes, exactly.
So
I just got confused for some reason.
Okay.
Chet Holmgren over under 23.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. You went over. I went under. He had 28.
First time in the series he went over.
Yes. So I lose again.
Yeah.
Avs minus 1.5 against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. You went Las Vegas Golden Knights. I went Avs. Avs lost. They're out.
They're out.
The Golden Knights won straight up.
13th year in a row that the best record in the league doesn't make the finals, let alone win the cup. Not even competing for the cup.
So you got to start dropping some games at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's enough of being, the best record in the league.
Why did you guys go open goal for the last 3 games of the year?
Avalanche will not be playing a goalie for the 4th straight game. They lost last game 38-3, but they're not making any changes. Yeah, you can't keep winning, evidently.
Phillies minus 1.5 at the Padres on Tuesday night. We both went Padres. Padres, this was their best game, 4-3. Manny with a 2-run shot. Laureano with a solo shot. Didn't get enough to win that one.
That was my first loss of the day. I was on a roll there.
Over under 7.5. We both went under. It was 7, so you win that one. Tatis plus Manny plus Merrill over under 2.5 hits. We both went over. Only had 2.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
Pirates minus 1.5 against the Cubs. You went Cubs. I went Pirates. Pirates won 12-1 that day.
Yeah, but the Cubs finally snapped the streak yesterday. All right, so I had a pretty good day. 7-3. You were 4-6.
I've been having a really tough month.
A little update from Fenway Park, the one-day baseball game going right now.
Is that the only game?
It's the only one going right now. The Braves and Red Sox were tied at 2 here in the 6th inning. Some guy named Yastrzemski came to the plate. Unfortunately for the Red Sox fans, he plays for the other team now. It's Carl's grandson. Mike Yastrzemski walked with the bases loaded. And Ronald Acuna Jr. just hit one into the Fenway boxes. Grand slam.
That is
Braves
cool.
Continue their hot streak. They're 7-2 ahead now.
Mike Yastrzemski gets to play on the same field that his grandpa did.
Not bad. But Acuna just delivered a big shot there. All right, let's go to tonight. We'll start with the Spurs trying to stay alive at against OKC. It's in San Antonio, Game 6. The Thunder lead the series 3-2. The interesting thing about this series, the first game was incredible. Double overtime, back and forth. The last 5 games have all been decided by like 20 points. Like they haven't even been close.
Yeah.
So what happens tonight, Scrape? Can the young Spurs force the champs to a 7th game? Or does OKC flick aside the pesky Wemby and company? What do you think? 3.5 points. Spurs are favored. What you going with here?
Thunder.
You're going with them to wrap it.
Yep.
I have seen this exact situation too many times. First of all, I want the Spurs. There's no argument. I can't stand the Thunder, and they're,
Just wait
all of
until
the
the Big
stuff we've
Five.
talked about.
Because SGA's lawyers have done something about his flopping.
He better have a lawyer or two based on the criticism he's taking. So.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny, but that's in the Big Five.
All right, we'll look forward to that. I'm going to take OKC, though. Teams that are back against the wall at home in a Game 6, it's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And a champion team like OKC should be able to close them out. 219.5 points tonight. Combined total, I'll go under. I think in, again, elimination game, focus will be a little more on defense for both sides. 219.5, Scrape.
So that's like a
110 to 109 would be right on it.
Would be under.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over.
You're going to go over. Okay, you may. Wemby, 29.5 is his point total tonight. Again, he's at home. He's got to bring it. Scraby, trying to stay alive. Can Wemby get the job done to the tune of 29.5 points? You're going to need a 30-point game, obviously, to go over here.
He's the only guy they have to stop if they want to win, the Thunder. So I'm going to go under.
So you think the Thunder is going to focus on Wemby?
They're going to sell out and stop Wembinator.
The Wembinator, so under. Wembayama, 4 for 15 and 0 for 5 from the arc last game. Here's what I want to see tonight from Wembayama. 10 for 15 and 0 for 0 from the arc.
Yeah.
Stop standing out there. I know you can make them, but you're giving them doing them a favor.
Yes.
You stand out there and shoot all day.
Yeah.
Get under there and, take your beating and give some back. And,
he's like, I think he's like 7'5".
He had 1 offensive rebound last game. 1.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama, the tallest man ever to play the game, had 1 rebound.
That is hard to believe.
Come on, man. I'm going to go over after I just ripped him. Caruso, 2.5 threes. Over under. He's been over that in every game. But he's not that good of a 3-point shooter normally, but he has been in this series. He's going to get the chances, so I'll say over. They continue to not guard him because they have to double, other people.
I'll go over as well.
Over for Caruso. SGA, 10.5 free throw attempts. Now, it was pretty funny the first 4 games of the series. SGA, they're not giving him the calls anymore. He's only getting the line 6 times. He only got to the line 7 times. The refs are starting to... 17 free throw attempts last game. Come on. 17? I mean, he shot 7 for 19 from the floor, which is 30% practically, yet finished with 32 points. What do you got? Over under 10.5.
I don't know. I feel like people, this is a side note.
Yeah.
I feel like SGA is going to draw some strength from all of this hatred that's coming towards him.
Maybe so. He seems to be playing
he
through it just fine. I'll say that.
Will he have at least 11 free throw attempts? You can book it, Chris. Over.
I'll say under on the road. Fans will boo the refs off the floor if they give him.
Fans chanted flopper.
Yeah, if they give him 17 free throws tonight on the road, I'd be shocked. All right, the Pirates 1.5 over the Cubs. Cubs into the 10-game slide last night, but their reward tonight is to face Skeens.
Oh, great.
In Pittsburgh. Colin Ray starts for the Cubs. This is a hard one. Skeens is so good, you almost have to pick him.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say Pittsburgh. I don't like giving runs like that, though. Cubs are a playoff team, much like we hope the Padres are. They're just been in a terrible stretch.
Padres haven't lost 10 in a row yet, so.
That's right. We have that going for us, which is nice.
Yeah, their name is not in the column of most Longest losing streak.
No.
I'm going to go
Good there.
Pirates.
You're going to go Pirates as well. 7.5 strikeouts for Paul Skeens tonight.
Over.
You're going to just go over.
Yeah.
I'm going to say under. The Cubs are going to make him work. Innings pitched tonight, Paul Skeens or Nathan Eovaldi, who's pitching for Texas tonight against the Astros. I'm going to take Eovaldi on this one. Again, I think the Cubs are going to work Skeens' pitch count up tonight. I'll take Eovaldi to go deeper into his game. I don't know. It's kind of a coin flip, really.
No, it doesn't seem like the Pirates let Paul Skeens pitch deep into games.
They've been getting a little bit more and more this year. I will say, they haven't totally yanked him.
I'm going to go Skeens.
His last game, he gave up 9 hits in 5 innings. Skeens did.
Yeah. I'm going to go Skeens.
You're going to go Skeens? You think
Skeener.
He's probably going to bounce back. And poor Livy Dunn, man.
Why?
Because they had the camera on her in Toronto, I think the game was, and they show, and he gives up a home run to George Springer.
And she dropped.
And she's like, and I'm like,
she dropped a bad word. That was funny, actually.
She's allowed.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Right?
No, it was funny.
Right. My point is she's allowed.
Yeah.
To me, she's allowed, and B, she can't because there's people, watching every word she says. Come on. Let her watch the game in peace.
Likes it, Chris.
Yeah, but it probably doesn't hurt her click ratio, which is what I think Livy's all about.
And Paul. She's all about Paul, too.
All right.
All right.
At the French Open today, I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, Sinner okay?
Yannick Sinner was 1 game away. He led 2-0, and he was up like 5-2 in the third. It was like all he had to do was like flip the racket out there and go home and celebrate. And he got blown out.
Yeah.
He didn't win another game hardly. And this is the number one. Well, I think Alcaraz is number 1, but right now he's hurt. So Alcaraz isn't even in the tournament.
Yeah.
Sinner, like being handed, the thing on a platter. What happened today is almost inexplicable for him.
Didn't he get cramps and stuff? And
yeah, he just started to break down. But he was 1 game away from wrapping it up.
It's funny how all these things happen more often, at least in my eyes, after he was caught.
He was ahead 6-3, 6-2, 5-1. I win that match, even against a professional.
That's pretty shocking.
Sinner did not win.
Couldn't get out there.
Couldn't make it to the wire.
Come on, man. You and Jacob Mizorowski.
I was going to say, this wasn't Jacob Mizorowski, the number 1 seed. This is Sinner.
Get your hydration under control.
One tennis one, though. Djokovic in the 3rd round against some guy named Fonseca. It is the 3rd round. But Djokovic is still going strong at, 50 years old now. He's an incredible athlete. Minus 4.5 games. Just sounds like he should be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
But you never know in a 3rd round match. The other guy's obviously pretty good, but I'll take the Joker. All right, we'll take a break. More Gwynn and Chris coming up. We have I'm looking forward to the Big 5 later today because there's some fun football stories to get into today that if I wasn't being so critical of the Padres offense, I could spend a lot of time on a couple of these football stories today. So stick around for those.
I actually have a question for you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Are you someone who thinks that Major League games are too loud these days?
Oh, you're asking me am I really as old as I seem?
That's not what I'm asking you. But there's an article out about Major League games now, people turning away from going because they don't like the in-game experience.
Yeah, I'll kick that around with you, Nick, because I had some thoughts. I did go to a Charger game last year.
Yeah.
And this was something my wife and I... Yeah, and the problem is that happens more than once a game, right?
It happens all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of 3rd downs. Yeah, we'll go over that because we kicked that around. And happy birthday, by the way, yesterday to my wife.
Yes.
And thank you for filling in for
me.
Of course. So that I could allow her a great birthday. And we'll come back with more on Gwynn and Chris. Sad note in the hockey world today. You got the Stanley Cup playoffs going on, of course, and one of the great Stanley Cup performers of his time, forward by the name of Claude Lemieux, passed away today at the age of 60. Lemieux had appeared at the Bell Center in Montreal 3 days ago.
Whoa.
He had played some of his career with the Canadiens. He appeared before the Game 3 between Carolina and Montreal. He carried a torch as part of the pregame ceremony. So, get the big Eastern Conference Finals. They come out. Claude Lemieux comes out. The crowd goes crazy because, they love this guy. And 3 days later, he's died. Everybody's shocked about all this. Nobody obviously was expecting anything like this. I'm looking through here to see if there's any, reason, what happened. And there's nothing here in terms of, how he passed away. Played for the Devils, helped them win Stanley Cups. He was a playoff MVP. Played for the Avalanche, won Stanley Cups for them, and played for the Red Wings and won Stanley Cups for them. Like everywhere he went, they won the Stanley Cup. And he was one of those hockey versions of a Caruso. He got under your skin.
Yeah.
But he was good too. So, everybody wanted to get after him. But you always wanted him on your team. So 60 years old,
That's
saddened on the passing of Claude Lemieux. Of course, more's coming out on the death of Kyle Busch as well.
Yes.
The fact that he apparently had pneumonia for weeks and weeks and weeks prior to his passing. I don't know, but was he racing up until the end?
Yeah.
Which would mean he was racing with pneumonia?
Yeah, I believe he raced at Watkins Glen like 11 days before he passed away. And then he radioed in saying he wasn't feeling good and he needed like some sort of, booster shot or something.
Yeah. The guy's out there playing. He's got pneumonia or driving.
What's very strange because he's 41. I'm 41. He was 41. I'm 41. But for some reason, this got me, Chris. The article that I read about how NASCAR has had to take his name out of these standings because he no longer is part of the circuit.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Because the standings are going to be there the rest of the year at least, right?
Yeah, and he obviously has no chance of moving up and down. So that's just the weird part.
Is that the better thing to do, or should we leave his name there? I don't know that would be better. I don't know.
I don't know. I
That's
really don't know.
That's one that I'd never thought about before and wish that I'd never had to think of again.
Yeah, I was like, I guess they do have to do something. And it was, NASCAR is not handling this. I mean, they are handling it well, but they're having a hard time.
Yes, they are. He was one of the stalwarts of that sport, for sure. Real quick, you asked me whether I think baseball games are too loud.
Yes, because there's an article on Yahoo Sports and Front Office Sports about this, and it's talking about how there's a 33-year-old lifelong Mets fan that goes like 40 games a season, and he doesn't want to go anymore because he likes the ambiance of the stadium, the crack of the bat, the ball hitting the mitt, things like that. Hot dogs, Cracker Jack,
yeah. Well, you're not going to get that anymore.
But now he's saying they're just blasting music. I find it overwhelming. I find it that it's taking away from the game, and I would like for it to stop. But what this article is saying, every single stadium now is doing the same thing.
I'm not hearing a problem at Petco Park. I enjoy the atmosphere at Petco Park. Maybe it gets loud once in a while. I really enjoy all of the fun videos they do with the players between innings. They can blast Blink 182 in the 8th inning as loud as they want. So and I know every player's got a song when they walk up, and I don't like any of the songs because I never heard any of them, but it doesn't bother me. I enjoy the atmosphere. Every now and again I long back for the days when the guy at the Dodgers would say, "Now batting, Steve Garvey," and then the Oregon guy or Oregon lady would go, you know, and that was pretty much it. Well, now it's Steve Garvey, dun 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 dun. But I don't mind that. But you brought up the football and the Charger game.
Oh yeah.
I dare anybody to go to a Charger game. And from what I hear, the Rams are the same. I haven't been to a Ram game.
I've been to more Rams games than Charger games.
So, but I dare anybody to go to one of those Charger type game, whatever, and don't be annoyed by how stupid loud it is with the PA people and the music and the screaming on third down and all of the fake noise that is pumped in there.
Yeah.
So I that really is far too much. I wish we could honestly just, enjoy some of the football game.
Well, with those games, like, it kind of needs participation from the audience, or else it's just the guy screaming at you on the field.
Yeah, I mean, and you hit it earlier. You did the third down thing. Please don't do it again.
Yeah, I
but you did it well. That's what it is every time it's third down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it starts getting to the point where the Broncos, I think it was a game I saw last year, on second down, I was rooting for them to make it so that I didn't have to hear.
Like, please, no more third down.
Yes, just don't be third down, whatever you do.
I think that this is just, and also in the article, they said the younger people want it, and who are going to be paying for tickets for the next 60 years?
Right, so I can't speak for the younger people, but I don't think my annoyance of the Charger sound is age-related. I just think it's really too loud. So take that for what it's worth. We will talk a little the greatest game, some football with the World Cup around the corner. Gwynn and Chris continues.
From the first pitch of the year to
food. Ha, ha, ha. I went by Spiro's yesterday, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we did a little bike ride for my wife's birthday in Coronado and rolled past Spiro's. And, it was like 2 p.m. and it was packed in there.
Of course. It's got a great view of the bay.
It's so relaxing. Try Spiro's authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. Still ahead, a chance for you to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. It's returning to Del Mar Fairgrounds June 10th. Scraby will have to alter his travel plans because of the traffic patterns that are created. The fair lasts through July 5th. Details at sdfair.com. Yeah, they never really figured out a way to, get everybody off at Via de la Valle without it backing up for like 6 miles.
Don't get me started on how much I hate the fact that there's one lane for the fairgrounds.
It really is true. It really is true.
It's crazy.
And there's really not another way to get there. Like a main way. You could
going
go
south.
Yes, you could go in and
lane.
right. You could go around and this, but yeah, to really get there, you need to hit the freeway to Via de la Valle, and it's a long wait. It's a long wait. All right, we're going to talk a little soccer here. I'm looking forward to it. Brian Dunseth from MLS on Apple TV, and he'll join us right after we check a little traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured? Demand justice. Demand Jurowitz. 855GetRoss.com.
Got a hazard reported on the westbound 8 trash can blocking the left lane of the northbound 805 connector, and the southbound 805 is heavy from the 52. I'm John Yeazel, Odyssey San Diego traffic.
All right, Chris Ello, Matt Scraby in the Bill Howe Studios, Where We Know How, and Brian Dunseth from MLS on Apple TV. Nice enough to spend a little time with us. We love talking some soccer here on Gwynn and Chris. How are you today, Brian?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys doing?
We're really, really good. Brian, first thing, let me ask you, the next match scheduled in MLS play is like in July, which is, a little weird, but we all understand why. Just take us through the dynamic of a 2-month break here and how you think teams are going to handle it. I'm looking at San Diego and the kind of frustrating season it's been for us here, and just thinking maybe a little time away from the pitch, might actually serve our team well. But it can be difficult to navigate a layoff like this.
Yeah, my partner Max and I were actually down there for the Vancouver game last weekend. And you could feel at times the tension with the fan base because obviously last year Mikey and everybody set the bar so incredibly high.
Yeah.
And as we saw in St. Louis a couple of years ago, a very similar issue befell them, which was all of a sudden everyone kind of figured them out, didn't really change the roster too much, allowed the guys who were successful to try to, again, be successful. Obviously, the Chucky Lozano story is a side story in this conversation. But ultimately, I would say that San Diego, unfortunately, has been a huge disappointment, only because I say that in context with understanding there's 20 games after the World Cup break remaining, and my Cal State Fullerton math isn't that bad, that I know that's at least 60 points available. But yeah, with regards to the starting point of this World Cup break, we don't know. None of us know because we've never seen it to this extent. And it coincides with what we do know is next year we're going to adjust with the sprint season and then start with the international calendar being all on the same page as the rest of the world. So I've heard guys say, we're taking the mandatory 3 weeks off. We're going to do a mini preseason. We're going to schedule games. We're going to get after it. I've heard other guys say, we're going to do the 3 weeks. I hope you stay fit during those 3 weeks because we're going to absolutely destroy you, and we're going to be even fitter than we were at this early stage of the season. On top of that, you talk about the international window. You talk about which clubs have money to spend. If you've spent that money correctly, you sure as hell don't want to miss the way you've missed for whatever the definition is of this Chucky Lozano situation. And you hope at the end of the day, they can catapult themselves back because they're still within touching distance of a playoff team. And one of the brilliant things that we've seen in a short amount of time with San Diego FC is I know it hasn't been as dominant as home as they would like, but they are really difficult to play against at Snapdragon Stadium. And I would imagine Mikey and everybody really want to reestablish just the mentality of opponents coming in and thinking, damn, we are going to be in for a fight for our lives over the next 90 minutes.
We're talking to Brian Dunseth here on 97.3 The Fan, the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. I kind of want to go in the Chucky Lozano direction real quick, because this year, as you've said, has not been kind to SDFC. I'm starting to see fans get a little anxious as to why Chucky Lozano is not playing, or why they haven't traded him. I don't even know what the term is, but
done something. Yeah.
Do you think that they need to get him either out of the organization or put him back into the lineup?
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I mean, we've all heard stories about what's happened and what transpired down in Texas. And the only people that really know are the players that were inside that locker room and the coach and the player themselves. And listen, we've all lived professional sports, man. It doesn't matter if it's baseball, basketball, football, or soccer. You're talking about high-level emotions and, egotistical moments of self-belief where people think one way and they are going to live and die by their thought process. Mikey doesn't have to worry about one person. He's got to worry about the entirety of the locker room. And whatever the baseline minimum is for the respect and the culture of what they've built in a short amount of time. Chucky is the face of the franchise, will continue to be the face of the group until he leaves. All due respect to Anders Dreyer and everybody involved, but it's still Chucky Lozano and the proximity to Mexico. And on top of that, listen, to your point about a trade and or a sell and or a loan, I thought it would behoove all parties involved the moment that, Mikey and Tyler made it evidently clear that he wasn't in their plans, especially heading into a World Cup where Vasco Aguirre continued to talk about the importance of guys, playing a ton of minutes and being in great form. So I'm not going to be naive out here and try to throw my opinion on everything, but I will say it is very, very curious how it got to this point. And I don't mean that in a malicious standpoint.
Yeah.
More of like a confusion standpoint of how you did your due diligence. You spent time with the player. You went all in, and you're willing to separate him from the team for, $30 million still in the click. That's a big call. And now it's only compounded by the fact that the club isn't where Vancouver and San Jose find themselves, which is currently at the top of the table.
Yeah, Brian Dunseth from MLS on Apple TV, I kind of tend to agree with you that when that Chucky Lozano thing came down, I commended, Mikey Varas and this whole Taylor Heaps and the whole thing for how they handled this, and they stood their ground. I said, we're going to run things a certain way, and if he doesn't want to be a part of it, nobody's bigger than this squad and the organization. I kind of commended that way of thinking. However, the longer he's still kind of hanging around on the periphery, to me, has made it a little, more difficult. Like if you could have moved him somewhere, then you could at least be out of sight, out of mind. But that really hasn't happened. Brian Dunseth is with us. Brian, I want to go to a match that I'm going to tape Saturday morning because I don't watch any sporting events live. So, but he
actually does have a VHS recorder at home.
All right, DVR, whatever. You're right. I'm old, but yeah, Betamax. I'm going to Betamax it. But the Champions League final, you got PSG, you got Arsenal. And PSG won it last year. They beat Arsenal in the semifinals last year. But this is the year of years for Arsenal. They won the Premier League for the first time in 2 decades. They're trying to win their first Champions League. I know PSG is probably favored here, but one match for all of it. I'm pretty excited. How do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, listen, this it's two sides of the teeter-totter, if I could kind of create an analogy for you. You have PSG, which is widely considered if not the best team in the world, one of the best teams in the world. And if not the most fun team to watch in the world, one of the most fun teams in the world to watch. I'm a Man United guy, so you'll never hear me speak highly of Arsenal. It's not in my DNA.
That's fair.
But I will say I've been impressed with Mikel Arteta. Any of the world that doesn't include Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, Arsenal probably has 2, maybe even 3 Premier League trophies. They do it differently. It's about the margins. Their focus is incessant and psychotic at times. It's set pieces. It's corners. I love the dark arts. I call it dunsethery, a good old thumb in the rib, or a pull of an armpit hair, or a manipulation of the referee. I love all of my Cal State Fullerton still comes out. But listen, I guess it's kind of like the introverted extrovert conversation. When I watch Lionel Messi, I'm an introverted extrovert, so I love Messi. I'm not a Cristiano Ronaldo guy because I'm not an extroverted extrovert. I would say it's kind of the same thing. If you're an introvert, you'll probably more tend towards liking to watch PSG. Extrovert, the pomp and the circumstances, where the margins for Arsenal, where they survive, and ultimately where they thrive. It's never been as good of an opportunity as it is right now for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal to have this opportunity. They're playing with house money. I don't think anybody is making them hands-on favorites. I think that pressure will be on Luis Enrique and PSG. But if you're looking for another team to watch in the World Cup, or you're a neutral, this is going to be a great snapshot of what France is going to look like at the World Cup by watching PSG. Because these are going to be the same players we're going to be watching making a heavy title push to lifting this World Cup trophy this summer. So I'm going to predict a PSG win, but I think it's going to be tight because Arsenal's going to do everything they absolutely can to disrupt the game style and flow we've seen from Luis Enrique's side.
I know that we're not going to, we can't expect it, but wouldn't it be great if the Champions final gave us something like the PSG Bayern Munich match in the semifinals? It was 5-4?
Oh my gosh.
Goodness, that might create a whole world of soccer fans if we all tuned in and saw something fun like that. But I'm going to watch. I love the Champions League. I love the way it works and how it's set up. And these two, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Real quick on the World Cup, we got a few minutes left. USA opens on the June 12th. I've heard people say that this is one of our better chances to make some noise. But I've also heard people say that we're still, expecting too much might be a mistake.
Yeah, listen, I was born in 1977. I grew up in Southern California, rep the 909 in Upland. My heroes were Tony Meola, Alexi Lalas, Marcelo Balboa, John Harkes, Tab Ramos, Eric Winalda. Those guys a few years later became my teammates, my older brothers. I was a volunteer at the LA Convention Center during the World Cup. I was standing outside the Rose Bowl because my parents couldn't afford tickets. I can't even imagine me asking for a ticket now.
I was going to say your parents aren't going to afford them this year either.
Yeah. I thought they were cheap. Now I think they're smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, I watched these guys turn into heroes overnight, and that's the opportunity. We can complain about the margins. We can talk about the Diego Lunas, the Xavier Agosos, the Tanner Tessmans, the Aiden Morrises not making this squad. But those are going to be guys that weren't starters. Those are going to be the margin guys, maybe the impact players off the bench. I am incredibly excited. I'm a part of the coverage for Turner and TNT, the house that Chuck and Shaq and Kenny built. So I'll be down in Charlotte on Saturday against Senegal. I'll be in Chicago next weekend for Germany. And I'll get to see these guys up close and personal once again because I've been covering the team for the last 2.5 years. My prediction is this is a quarterfinal team. I don't know why I think it's quarterfinal team. I think there's so many variables and opponents and referees and VAR and technology, red cards, yellow cards, all of those things. But I just think, similar in Qatar, that this group is going to lay everything on the line and recognize, and this is what I've always hoped, that they recognize their inner child, that they recognize that they have the opportunity to do something that the rest of us only dream about doing. And that when they look down and they see that crest on their chest, that they realize that they're fighting for themselves, for their childhood dreams, for their families, and they're fighting for the rest of us that are supporting this U.S. men's national team. So I'm going to go a quarterfinal, and hell, who knows what happens after that.
If they make it that far, call Marcelo Balboa. He will answer the phone weeping, because we talked to him last week about what it would mean to him if they made a run like that. And he said he'd probably just be bawling his eyes out. He'd be so excited. So
yeah,
that's what it's going to mean to a lot of people.
I've known Cello.
Yeah.
I've known Cello since I was 15 years old. We were just together in San Diego for that game. And man, I'm so lucky that I get to have the conversations with such iconic guys that care so much about the game here in the U.S.
Hey, Brian, thanks for everything you've done and joining us, man. Appreciate it. We'll catch up to the second half of the season.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Brian Dunseth, MLS on Apple TV. That was good. That was fun. If you're a soccer fan, because I'm not even a soccer fan, but I really do like the Champions League final. I think it sets up as for lack of my soccer knowledge, but a contrast in styles. You know, you got the free-flowing one team. You got the other guys grabbing and clutching and digging in to do everything they can. I think underdog, I think it'll be fun.
I think he had natural hatred for Arsenal. I could hear it in
yes,
his voice.
He did. Well, hey, if you're a Man U, I get where he's coming from. But, yeah, you got that. Then you follow it up with the World Cup. It's going to be a fun time for soccer this summer. Gwynn and Chris is coming up here with Chris versus the Fans. 833-288-0973. Fabulous prizes and lots of fun. Call in to play. Scott Scraby today in the Odyssey Palace Studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. and the Padres idol. We're joking earlier about whether no baseball might be better than Padre baseball right now. Maybe for today, I'll go ahead and second that notion. Like, we could use a day off from what we just saw this week. I mean, I don't have a problem taking a day off from this. We went through it earlier in the show. If you missed, my lambasting of the offense, the 2:00 hour is where you want to go for that. Again, not jumping up and down and screaming, but I am saying that the status quo simply cannot be tolerated. That's a tough word to say because I know everyone's trying.
I was going to say, it's not like they want to do this.
I know, but something needs to change. We can't keep doing the same and expecting something different. And you brought up the Mariner series and a couple of other moments in time this year, but those are the exception. The actual, numbers for this baseball team through 55 games on offense are, hideous. That's all I got. I think of Kramer and Seinfeld on a episode when he was smoking like 12 cigars a day and his face became all wrinkled and his teeth were yellow, and he walked in and Jerry goes, "Man, the cigar thing's not working out for you." And Kramer looked at himself in the mirror for the first time and he went, "Oh, Jerry, I'm hideous." That kind of describes the hitting right now for the Padres. But there is one bit of ray of sunshine, we hope. They're playing the Nationals this weekend. The Nationals have allowed more runs than any team in baseball this year. Having a good year, but pitching not so good. So they've even given up more runs than the Rockies and everybody. So hopefully this will be help provide a little cure for the Padres' struggling offense starting tomorrow. We're going to get into Chris versus the fans here. Big Five is also coming up. This is our final hour together today.
Yes.
Between 5 and 6. What I recommend is that you listen to the voices of reason in the Padre roundtable discussion today, in which all of us were a part of, including the celebrity guest panelist, Ted Leitner. It was great fun having Ted in. But listen to that and then listen to me be not as reasonable in the 2:00 hour today. Or go the other go listen to me first and then finish with the brighter way of looking at things.
I don't know if there was a brightness at the end, but go back and listen to Chris, because I think you should.
Well, this is not, and it's not really opinion. It's most of it is fact. I'm just trying to. I don't know that they can go another 55 games hitting like this.
You would have hated my show yesterday. Then you would have hated it.
No, you tried to be upbeat.
Basically, what I said is this isn't anything new for baseball teams. It's bad, but it's not anything new.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, we'll get into let's play Chris versus the fans. I also want to tell you that we are going to give away before the bottom of this hour a family 4-pack of tickets to the Del Mar Fair. You may want to study the Padres' lack of hitting for a little hint into what today's question will be about. But that's later. Right now, your chance to play.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here's what you're playing for. You will win a qualification for the grand prize, a $500 gift card to Westgate Las Vegas, the home of legendary Vegas fun, now offering the breakaway from fees package, including a $75 daily dining credit, 2-day spa passes, daily cabaret tickets, complimentary valet parking, and $0 resort fees. Special rates starting at $89 a night. Book now at westgatelasvegas.com. the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If Chris gets it wrong, or if you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. If Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that question for free today. We had a winner on Friday for the Padres tickets to Tuesday's game, and it was Leslie and her son.
Okay.
And Leslie, I asked to send a picture of them at the game, and she did.
Good.
And it was so awesome to see 2 people that were like
enjoying their prize.
loving it.
We're glad we're able to give you guys, some
cool
tickets
stuff from time to time.
Yeah.
Also, Chris, I just thought of a big 5 topic that I didn't bring up yet. About yesterday's game, something with the lineup construction. So I just put it in there. We'll talk about it at the 4:40.
And there's also
portion.
some football stories that deserve attacking coming up on the.
Well, it's a
Big
good
5.
place that they came to this show.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our first contestant, which will be. Let's go to. There's a lot of Jason's. Let's go to this Jason. Hello, Jason.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
afternoon. Jason, good to have you with us.
You ready to play?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Let's see. Who won the NBA MVP award for the 2nd straight year this season?
Gosh, I have a hard time with his name. From Thunder.
Initials. Give us initials.
SG.
Yeah, you got it.
SG. Yeah, Shea Gilgeous.
Yes,
This is
Shea Gilgeous. Is that his technical, or is his technical first name Shea?
Shea. His
so
last
his
name
last
is Gilgeous Alexander.
Okay.
Either that, his first. Yeah, a lot of people think his last name is Flopper. That's what they're going to yell. That's what they'll be yelling tonight in San Antonio. You can be sure of that.
He's taking some legal matters into his own hands. We'll talk about that in the Big 5 as well.
Okay.
Question number 2. Which National League pitcher has the most strikeouts in baseball coming into today?
Good boy. National League pitcher.
I have an idea, but it might be wrong, so I'm gonna let Chris give it a shot.
You're gonna pass it. Okay.
I like it. Is it Mizorowski? I mean, I would think the guy's getting 12, 14 a game.
Sorry about that, Jason.
Sorry,
yes, it was
Jason.
Jacob Mizorowski. He has 100 strikeouts. Christopher Sanchez in second by 4.
300 strikeouts used to be considered like a really great pitching dominant season.
Mm-hmm.
And then that went the way of the dodo bird because people didn't pitch enough innings to get 300 strikeouts. Mizorowski is at 100, and it's a third of the way through the season. He, I don't know that he can stay healthy and cramp-free long enough to make 300, but he's giving it a run. So, give him that.
The dodo bird is making a comeback.
It's what? I thought it was extinct.
Yes, the scientists are trying to
genetically
somebody in Austria.
Yeah,
they're doing this. Yes, they're trying to bring back the dodo bird to see if they can bring back other species that have been extinct.
Glad to know the dodo bird could be returning.
I know. But what are we going to do with the phrase "gone the way of the dodo bird"?
Right, well, I don't need the dodo bird. I was around the first time they existed, so I remember them well.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is really funny.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, you're up. Hello, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. Welcome to it. You're up.
There.
Your turn.
Hey, I'm having a baby boy.
Oh, very nice. When is that happening?
Yeah, I just found out.
Wow.
Oh,
What
congratulations.
like today? Did you find out today? Or
I found out today, yes.
Wow. So you are on an incredible high. Give the man the prize. Come on. I can't take away. The man's going to be a father. You got to just give him the prize.
I don't think your child would want you to win the wrong way.
Well, I don't know. I think it's all going so well for him. He's going to probably do well anyway. Well, congratulations.
Yes, congratulations,
Ryan. That's
Ryan.
incredible news.
That is very, very cool. Sorry to say it, but we're going to get into the game. Question number 1.
There we go.
Who just won Coach of the Year in the NBA?
This year.
You can give me the team or the name. The team that he coaches or the name.
Oh, Lord.
His last name is a city in Montana, if that helps you.
I got nothing else.
Okay, I'm making a special decision. You'll get the first question for free today.
Hey, there we go. Being a father for the first time gets him through the first round. I don't
so
think
many people are like, that is ridiculous.
I like it, Scraby. The answer was Joe Mazzulla.
Yes, Joe.
In case you ever have
Mazzulla.
to, in case you're ever asked again.
Yes. All right, Ryan. Here we go. Question number 2. What team does Garrett Crochet pitch for?
He pitches for the Red Sox.
The Red
There we
Sox.
go. He's got that one.
Really embarrassing. When he first made his debut, I called him Crotchet.
Well, I can understand that, although he probably didn't appreciate it.
No, but his last name is an activity. Crochet. I didn't think it was crochet. Question number 3, Ryan. Since, wait a second. I don't know if I've asked this one. Chris, tell me if I've asked it. Since 2021, Manny Machado has driven in the most runs for the Padres. Who is second on that list?
You have not asked.
Okay.
So we're going back to 2021.
2021.
Since the pandemic, basically.
The season after, yeah.
Who's driven in the second most runs?
As a Padre, let's go with, oh my gosh. I'm going to have to just throw out, I guess, Merrill. I'll try Merrill.
Tries Merrill.
Jackson.
Tries Merrill.
Merrill. Stay there.
I don't really have a good guess. The guy I'm going to guess has 3 this year, which I don't know. Maybe he has 3 in the last month. I take that back. He has 16. But I just, he's been here the most, so I'm going to just go with Tatis Jr.
Wow. Ryan is a winner.
It is his day.
Stay there, Ryan. It is your day.
It is your day.
Surprisingly, I wrote this question when everybody hated Jake Cronenworth. He's
Jake?
second in RBIs. He's got 353 since 2021.
That is a little surprising.
So for all those people out there like, Jake never does anything. Actually, he's driven in the second most runs since 2021.
Yeah. Hasn't been adding to that total lately.
No.
Hopefully he'll be
not.
back healthy sooner rather than later.
This is not me breaking news or trying to be crazy and get viral fame or anything, but some of the people I talked to down at the ballpark are thinking that he's going to be out for a lot longer than we think. And I don't know that for sure. And he could be back tomorrow. But
yeah, you would think if he's coming back tomorrow, there'd be some hint of that.
There'd be sending someone down, putting someone on the IL, something like that.
I'm definitely concerned long term for Jake Cronenworth. All right, Ryan, not concerned for you, man. New father and entered into the chance to go to, well, who doesn't want to take their newborn to Las Vegas? Ryan, you could win that prize. Stick around. Scraby will tell you how to get on the list officially. And we'll come back with more Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan. Hello, Mr. Scraby, celebrating along with Ryan out there, who I found out today is going to be a dad, and then took down Chris versus the fans. Probably tell his baby, 10 years from now, hey, the day I found out, you were going to be born, or that, we were going to have you, I won Chris versus the fans. I mean, you were kind of secondary that day.
You think he's going around to all of his friends and be like, you guys hear me? I won Chris versus the fans. Oh, by the way, I'm having another baby.
That's right. Yes. Why are you giving me cigars? Well, I won Chris versus the fans. So.
Oh, yeah, and I'm having another baby.
And that's right. All right. Gwynn and Chris, Tony's out today. The Padres are out today. They will open a 3-game series against the worst pitching team in baseball. The Washington Nationals
don't
tomorrow.
Even say it.
I know. Something's got to give, Scrabe. Something's got to give. The worst hitting team versus the worst pitching. Well, I don't know if they're the worst ERA, but I know they've given up more runs than every team in baseball this year.
They can also score a ton of runs.
Yeah. Don't forget, by the way, Scraby, you and I will get reminded at least 30 times.
I was just about to bring
this
up.
weekend that CJ Abrams and James Wood used to be our property.
Yes, I was waiting for it.
Yeah. So settle in for that one.
I don't want to.
I don't blame you. Game 6 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals are tonight. Can the Spurs force a Game 7 against the Thunder? It may very well rest on whether SGA gets to the foul line. In the 3 wins in the series, he's been to the foul line like 40 times. And in the 2 losses, he was hardly at the foul line at all. So, can he cajole the calls as he's so good at doing? Or can the Spurs keep their hands off? I will say this. I watched Game 5. He shot 17 free throws, SGA. Not all of them were because he was flopping. Like, the Spurs were being stupid. Like, he'd be 60 feet from the basket, and they'd be bumping him and reaching and grabbing him. I'm like, and they're just putting him on the foul line. Like, I know you want to guard him. I know you want to be a little physical with him, and the ref should let you do some of that. But he's not a danger to you 60 feet from the basket, right? I mean, as good as he is, even he can't score out there.
No.
So they took a lot of really dumb fouls the other night, and their coach said so. Mitch Johnson, who I think has been straight up.
Yeah, he doesn't pull punches.
I've been a fan of his in this series, and they keep trying to get him to say, well, Oklahoma City's getting all the calls and the reffing is unfair. And then he comes back and says, you know what, I watched it. A lot of the calls were right on. I'm sure he disagrees with some of them, but he wants to talk about the ones that his guys could avoid, which is jumping up in the air and landing on SGA. And, those are fouls. So he's trying to – that to me is going to be a big part of the game tonight. Looking forward to that. Stanley Cup, they're down to Vegas. And, sorry, Canada, but I think the Canadiens are done. Carolina is looking like all that. They've won the last 3 games of the series, and they've only allowed 42 shots on goal. That's not in one game. That's in all 3 games combined.
Trying to do the math in my head.
Well, I'll give you the math. It's about 4 shots per period for Montreal.
And that seems like a lot.
It's not. You're not going to win many games if you can only get 4 shots a period.
Really? Like what? Okay, so
10 is about average.
Because I guess I said it seems like a lot because is it when they just shoot it at the goal,
no,
or
I'm talking about shot on goal?
So the goalie has to touch it for it to be a shot on goal?
The very definition of a shot on goal is a shot that would go in if the goalie were not there. So,
okay, all right.
What that means is if you take a slap shot, you just blaze it in there 120 miles an hour, and it hit the post and it bounces out.
Yeah.
That is not a shot on goal.
Okay, all right.
But the bottom line is Montreal is not able to generate any offense, and Carolina.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, I've heard of this. Carolina will be going home, try to clinch that in Game 5. Vegas is awaiting that in the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm looking forward to a couple of NFL stories that we're going to touch on in the Big 5. One is the reaction of Andy Reid today when asked about his jailed wide receiver, Rashee Rice. Yep. And I think you can almost, if you've been following the Chiefs and Andy Reid, you can probably predict about where Andy Reid went on this, but we'll discuss that. And also, Mike Vrabel would like all of our forgiveness.
Well, he just wants us to move on.
I don't believe he's going to get that forgiveness from me or many people for that matter. But we will talk about that in the Big Five. So
I also have a story in the Big Five, Chris, that it affects me deep into the core. You're going to give us a little preview of it here? The bat dog for the Oklahoma City AAA team.
Oh no, is he the one that injured? Well, he didn't injure the player. The player got injured.
Thank you.
Trying to dance away from the bat dog. The bat dog being the dog that goes out there and grabs the bat after it's lying.
It's the cutest thing in the world.
Absolutely. And the guy fell and hurt himself.
He tried to jump over the dog, but I will defend this dog to my death. That all they did, all they did was say, "Do your job, go get the bat." He did nothing wrong.
And he's been replaced now?
He's not been replaced, but I think he's been suspended.
Oh, no.
Ridiculous.
By the way, Paul Skeens over under 7.5 strikeouts tonight. He's already got 7 through 3 innings. Yeah.
What about
mowing down the Cubs?
Yuri Perez yesterday, 9 Ks through 4 innings, and then he has a cramp in his hamstring.
He also hit a Toronto player right in the back with a fastball. And then stared into the Toronto dugout, and the manager of the Blue Jays, Mr. Gibbons, was seen yelling something like
Gibbons.
Who's the man? It used to be Gibbons. I'm a manager behind on the Blue Jays.
John Schneider.
Thank you, John Schneider. It used to be Gibbons. Yeah, Schneider can be seen yelling back to the mound, and I'm no John boy, but it was something like, "Why don't you get the bleep back up out on the mound?"
Ooh.
He wasn't pleased with the hit batter and the stare down. Perez, I believe, struck out the next hitter, and as he walked off, again peered into the dugout. Schneider was like, wash his hands of this guy. And then Perez had to leave the game because his back was tight. So
it was hamstring.
Whatever it was. But he was trying to be all can I say badass?
Yeah,
he was trying to be all, and then, I'm out. So
what's his issue?
I don't know. The Blue Jays got the last laugh on that one.
Yeah, they did.
So, all right. We'll take by the way, we never touched on Colin Cowser this week. Do you know who he is? Colton Cowser. Yeah, not Colin. Colton Cowser, who had back-to-back games with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the last inning. That was pretty good.
That is pretty good. Yeah, I think he was Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago.
He was, yeah. So good for him, but it's not really doing a lot of good for the Orioles, who were way down in the standings. Oh my goodness, I got a really bad story to share.
No! Whoa.
We talked about the death of Claude Lemieux earlier today, the hockey legend from at the age of 60, and he'd been at the game the other night. They announced why he died or how he died.
Oh gosh, what is it?
It's not what you want to hear.
Should we go to the other side? I feel weird.
I don't want people to wait.
I feel weird.
He died by suicide.
Oh.
That is such an awful thing to hear.
Yes, that is.
Absolute awful thing to hear. Whew. All right.
Man.
Yeah.
People are struggling.
Yeah, they are.
Talk to someone.
Talk to somebody. Yeah.
That's really sad.
Well, man, it's like a punch to the gut right there, just having to read that. All right, we'll try to we'll get to the Big Five and wrap things up on Gwynn and Chris. I'm old. I forget stuff. And we're supposed to give away the tickets to the Del Mar Fair at the end of the last segment. We didn't. So we will do it before the end of the show. Scraby
yes, I got my board.
Yeah, he's said there's no way the show will end without us giving away the 4 tickets to the San Diego County Fair, returning to Del Mar Fairgrounds June 10th through July 5th. Details at sdfair.com. But before you get a chance to win those, we got a little traffic, and then I am looking forward to a really good Big Five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured? Demand justice. Demand Jurowitz. 855GetRoss.com.
They're moving slow on the southbound 5 from the 52 all the way to the 54. Got a crash clearing from the shoulder near SeaWorld Drive, adding to delays. I'm John Yeazel, Odyssey San Diego Traffic.
Brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort Starlight Pool Parties. Make Sundays your summer escape at Hamul Casino Resort Starlight Pool Parties. Enjoy rooftop views, live DJs, cocktails, cabanas, and poolside vibes all season long. Enjoy Sunday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Hamul Casino Resort.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
And we are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios where we know how. Let's get right into it.
Number 5.
So, yesterday, one of the things that I brought up after the game when the Padres, didn't score a run, and they lost 3-0, and they only scored 3 runs the entire week. I brought up the fact that I thought it was a little strange that they started Gavin Sheets at first base against a lefty and instead had Ty France on the bench. So I was trying to figure out why that is, because our logic tells us by what they've been doing all year that Gavin Sheets doesn't face lefties. They pinch hit for him all the time. So I didn't understand that. My question, Chris, you have a problem with Ty France being out of the lineup yesterday?
Kind of have a problem with Ty France being out of the lineup right now at any time. But I also have a problem with Gavin Sheets being out at any time, or Miguel Andujar. Those are the only 3 guys that can hit. So honestly, I kind of want them all in there. I know why you're bringing it up. Gavin Sheets is 3 for 21 against lefties this year. Yeah. He has, 3 singles, no extra base hits. And, so, he's not done anything against lefties. Ty France hasn't either, though, which surprised me because he's a right-handed hitter. Yeah. He's 7 for 31 with no home runs against lefties, all 5 of his homers against righties. So that in and itself maybe helps explain it. But me personally, I said this 3 weeks ago. He hit a home run, and everybody said, I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Gavin Sheets should be in, so should Ty France. Laureano should be in right field. Castellanos should not be starting practically every game. Sorry. I mean, you're going to wait for another magic home run, but the rest of it has been not much.
Did they logjam themselves with too many infielders? That's why Castellanos has to play outfield all the time, because they don't have Ty France can't play. Can't play.
Well, I think the reason is they don't want to use Sun Mun Song at all, no matter how much money they paid him.
And let me take that back. Gavin Sheets does play left field, but he has not played right field.
Right.
Before the haters come at me.
Yeah, right. But Song could be playing second base. Fernando could be in right field, but they don't want Song. They're giving him all this money to not play. And we don't have Jake to play second base. So Fernando's had to go there almost full time.
Yeah. I think he started I'm not going to say the number because I don't actually remember the number, but I think it's
been quite a bit.
I don't think there's really an answer for this one, to be honest.
What are your choices right now? Chicken bleep or chicken bleep? You're going to get
chicken bleep.
Exactly.
Number 4.
All right. So Andy Reid spoke to the media today, Chiefs head coach, and they asked about Rashee Rice, and he's dealing with knee injury or knee surgery that he got over the offseason. He's also in jail right now. And
seems like you buried their lead there. Maybe he's in jail and then he's dealing with a knee injury. But
he's dealing with a knee injury in jail right now. Okay. And the reason he's in jail is because he failed his probation drug test.
Yeah,
he got popped for smoking weed, so he's in jail, like literally in jail. They asked Andy Reid about it, and he said, as far as Rasheed goes, we're aware of the situation. The league's aware of it. We've talked to the league. We get it. There's been no talk about anything further. We're moving forward, just normal as we go here. When he gets back, we've got to get him caught up and doing what he needs to do, and then make sure he gets it. It's not an easy thing he's going through. Life lessons are important, but we're all given chances to learn. And so he's in that position now. I'm going to go first and get myself out of the way for Chris. Andy Reid has something very, 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 very backwards in this statement. Instead of like I buried the lead, he said when he gets back, we've got to get him caught up in doing what he needs to do, and then make sure he gets it. Now, is he talking about gets it as in life? Does he get it that he's been in trouble a lot lately? Like, he should get it first before he understands the offense, in my opinion. The question is, are the Chiefs doing him a disservice, which we've asked before? Yes, they are.
Well, it's business as usual for the Chiefs. I don't know what transgression you could commit that would get the Chiefs to part with you.
I don't know either.
Kareem Hunt was welcome there. Rashee Rice this isn't the first
Tyreek Hill.
Look, if Rashee Rice did one thing and then, had to serve a thing, and I'd say, hey, bring him back. Let's go. Life lesson learned. Okay.
Yeah.
But Rashee Rice should have learned his life lesson, 3-4 years ago. So I'm kind of done with this guy, but I'm not surprised the Chiefs aren't. They're about, going to the Super Bowl. And so, look, I there's part of me that tries to commend Andy Reid because he's looking out for everybody, but after a while, it almost becomes enabling. You got to be careful that you don't cross over that line. Like, all right, welcome back, Rashee. Here's your playbook. Look, how about Rashee? You want to come back? We need a guarantee, like, seriously, that this is it. No more at all, ever. And that should have been a speech to him before.
Yes.
So that's where I have an issue with it,
I don't disagree.
I'm
with
not surprised
anything that you said, but
I mean, this is a guy with the caused the accident.
He ran away from the accident.
And
then he seemingly got better.
He's been in other issues, minor scrape ups that wouldn't be much for most people, but for him, just kind of pile on to everything. And I mean, all he did here was smoke some pot, and I don't mean it lightly, but it wasn't a horrible transgression, except for the fact he's not allowed to do it. I mean, people are like, well, what's the big deal? The deal is that the rule was put in by a judge that you can't do that.
Yeah.
So what about that did he not understand? Like, and what life lesson is he, did he learn here? That if somebody tells me I can't do anything, I can't do it? Thank goodness I learned that.
It's really good, though, that I could play football because...
Yeah, I don't know where Rashee Rice would be without that.
I know. I don't want to come down on the guy, but like you said, it's multiple examples. It's multiple examples of things.
It is. Number 3. You'll draft him anyway, though, in fantasy. You put those kinds of things aside.
You know what? I'm gonna actually this year live up
try to have a good group of guys.
I will pass on Rashee Rice.
Okay.
Because of transgressions.
All right.
From one upstanding organization, to another upstanding organization, the New England Patriots. Now, Mike Vrabel, he did speak with the media yesterday before OTAs started. The media asked him about his what's going on and how it's going, balancing life and football. And here is what Mike Vrabel said.
Oh, really good. I think that's again, I appreciate my family is great. I love Jen. I love the boys. I love, my personal friends. And then, this spring is focused on really the coaching staff, the players. More important.
Then he goes into an answer about the Patriots and the coaching staff and then 44 new players that they're getting. He never revisited this topic. So, Chris, my question is it time for us to move on?
Yeah. It's time for us to move on, but I'm not going to forget, what happened here, just as if his wife might be able to move on somehow, but I doubt she'll ever forget.
That'd be very hard
if,
to.
If she's staying with him, which I don't
I think
necessarily
they are working on it. Yes.
Yeah. Good luck. Here's my thing, and I'm going to throw this out there so that maybe the next time you will find yourself in a position out there wondering what the proper thing to do is. The problem I have with Mike Vrabel isn't what he's saying now. The problem I have with Mike Vrabel is that he didn't seem to love his family too much in the 5 or 6 years that he was running around on the side with Diana Rossini.
And Chris isn't joking. They have pictures of them in 2020.
Yes, right. So it doesn't seem like you loved your family too much when you were
love
doing
your family
that.
when you get caught.
Yeah, but all of a sudden,
shouldn't say he doesn't love his family. He might love his family.
Right. But he wasn't thinking any of that through.
Yeah.
So, to me, but I'm not his wife and his family, so they'll have to forgive it. They're going to have to forgive and forget however they choose to do it. I think it's a stain on the Patriots, but then again, I think, Robert Kraft is a stain, period. And so this is what you get. The Patriots.
I've been reading that they are preparing for Diana Rossini to do some sort of tell-all interview because she has been completely thrown to the wolves. Like, there is zero chance that she ever gets a job in sports again. And so she's thinking maybe the only way to reclaim her name,
in on a couple of $1 million.
maybe not cash in, but to reclaim her name a little bit and kind of get her side of the story out there, they're going to have to do something like an interview.
Yeah. She might be able to reclaim some of her name, but nothing's ever going to change the fact that she had an affair with a man that she knew was married. That tells me enough of what I need to know about her right then and there.
With a guy for her husband, and
she's married too. So
anyway, do I think we need to move on? I think Chris is right. I think it's time to move on, but this will be brought up forever and ever and ever. It's never going away.
It's going to be hard to look at Vrabel quite the same.
Number 2.
That sounded a little overstated there.
I think everything's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I told you guys about this. His lawyers have issued a cease and desist to Underdog Sports over their, quote, unethical hoops board game. Now, Chris, this game is a parody of the game Operation. I'm sure you've played that. Everybody's played Operation.
I remember the old game. You stuck the little tweezers in there, and if you touch the side, pulling out the bone, it went zzz.
Yeah.
Operation. Well, good game.
They have made a game called Unethical Hoops where they have SGA there, and you have to try and get the ball from SGA, and if you touch the side, foul. So they have all of these different things in there, and apparently Underdog planned to give away 100 copies during Game 3 against the Spurs, but a May 22nd letter from Eric Fishman, his attorney, demanded Underdog stop using SGA's name, image, and likeness across all platforms and physical goods. They also asked to destroy the games and refrain from further unauthorized name, image, likeness use. Now, you know who Underdog got to make a commercial for this? The Villain. Dylan the Villain is the spokesperson for the SGA Unethical Hoops game. Now, SGA is very mad about this, apparently.
Is he mad, or is it just his lawyers?
I would assume at some point he said, hey, send that letter because they're using my name and I didn't give them authorization. So I'm up first. Should SGA be mad? No, he should not be mad. This is part of being a great NBA player who's won back-to-back MVPs. You're just going to be the spotlight and focus, and people are going to make fun of you. And maybe you should stop flopping because it's turning. Chris said it weeks ago. I didn't think that SGA was going to go down as a flopper. People were going to say flop, flop, flop. Now they're chanting it like it's his last name. So maybe you need to revisit things, SGA, but I guess I'm not mad at him for doing this. It's a little weird, Chris.
It would be nice if you could just take it with a grain of salt, but there comes a time sometimes when you feel like, people are I think something that would bother a lot of us is the notion that somebody is making a bunch of money off of
this.
me and
Yes.
my name without,
And it's a big joke about
not that he needs the money, but just like you're using me so that you can line your pockets.
Yeah.
So I understand why, he might be coming from there. I will say I'm really watching him closely right now. You know that. I didn't see him flop too much in Game 5. He's more than capable of not flopping. And I have a feeling that even though he probably hasn't said anything, he's alive. He's heard everything and seen everything and what's written of him and what's said by him by national voices, not just mine. He might be looking at this and, saying, hey, it's time I just, play a little more straight up. So,
It is strange to have your lawyer send a letter, though.
It seems seems like a little much.
But they don't ask to be famous, but you do accept certain things when you sign that contract.
Well, we just said earlier, wish old Livy Dunn could enjoy watching Skeen's pitch without a camera in her face.
It's not going to happen.
But she is Livy Dunn, and she,
This is what
became
she
the
does.
personality that she is. So,
yes.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like Kim Kardashian, should she ever be able to say, I need my privacy?
No, because you've
kind of given up a lot of
life.
the privacy. Yeah, so.
All right.
Number 1.
Now, the Dodgers prospect, Kendall George, he injured his knee while trying to evade the bat dog at a AAA game the other day. Now, apparently, when it happened, they thought it was very bad, and he tore up his entire knee. Apparently, that he did not sustain ligament damage, according to the initial MRI.
How did he get hooked up? Was he not looking? The player? What?
No, he was coming off the field.
Actually,
the dog bolted out of the dugout, and he had to jump over the dog, and he just landed wrong. And
so
hurt
the
his
dog
knee.
bolted out to get the bat, bring it back to the dugout.
And he
it's kind
jumped
of a fun
over the
minor
dog.
league
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
He jumped over the dog, and then as he landed, he hurt his knee.
So the dog has been
suspended. This isn't the dog's fault.
Suspended?
The dog's name, its job is the bat dog. Was the bat dog doing what it was supposed to do? Yes. It was going to get the bat. I believe Kendall George should have went around the bat dog. This is not the dog's fault. So
Evidently,
Chris,
he could not. The dog, got up on him too quickly.
the question here is, have we seen the last of the bat dog?
I hope not.
Me too.
And I also hope we haven't seen the last of the retrieve the kickoff tee dog. The dogs that run out there and get the kickoff tee.
The Dodgers are going to ruin it for everyone.
Nah, they won't. This will be a one-off. This will be a one-off, I hope, I say.
The bat dog is so cute.
Adorable.
How could you be mad at the bat dog? Ever. Although he was very mad because his career flashed before his eyes.
Yeah, well, that's the risk you take. Megan Grant is?
No.
You probably don't. She plays softball for UCLA. She's already set the record for home runs in a year. She added to it with her 41st tonight.
That's why they're celebrating so much.
UCLA leads Alabama at the College Softball World Series. Stay tuned. Our Padre Roundtable replay is next.
The best bad team.
I've retired. I've lost. All my skill set, but like your advertiser, I am indeed fresh and not frozen.
There we go. That's good. I mean, eventually all of us will be frozen, but
no, it is.
That's a good response, Ted, but I was hoping for something more along the lines of bite me.
Yeah.
You, sir, are moron. I would never say anything like that on the air, ever. And if you think I said it, you're incorrect.
Teddy, we'd love to have you in with the Padres rolling on a 10-game winning streak, but unfortunately, that is not the case. We all know that the team has been struggling, especially on offense. So I'll start us out today. Dennis Lynn posed an interesting question, a little bit rhetorical in The Athletic this week, but I'll give it to our panel to start the show. Are the Padres the worst good team in baseball right now, or are they the best bad team in baseball right now with their 7 games above 500? And does it really matter that we classify them one way or the other, Teddy?
Yeah, but calling them a bad team, I think that hurts. And they have not been a bad team for a long time. So that's unfair, I think. And I like Dennis a lot. He's a terrific writer. And I thought that when he was on the beat when I was still broadcasting ball games. Now, I just think they're like everybody else, as we 47 times a week on the broadcast would always say, why did that happen? Why is this happening? 2 words. That's baseball. I mean, it really is. You're going to slump. It's nice to not have a collective slump, but I mean, there are definite problems here that are scary problems. And is Manny? Is Manny going to be Manny again? Is Tati And these are my two favorite players, by the way, now, and two of my favorites of all time over those 41 years broadcasting. I love those two guys. So the idea that you look at the pull side and whether Tatis is getting around on fastballs, and it matters more now in that stat than it did 20 years ago, because 20 years ago, you didn't have, four guys in every bullpen that throw 100 miles an hour or more, and starters that go 97, 98. So when you're not pulling the fastball out of here like he did, and that's a large concern, and Manny is a concern, and then it would be okay if you're dealing with just those two, but that's enormous. That's your two best players, your two best hitters. But you got, Jackson Merrill has slid down. Cronenworth is not doing it, so it's just a collective slump. But I've seen them before. I broadcast when they had them.
One or two?
Yes, yeah. It's part of baseball. But again, it's not a great lineup to begin with. We never said that. And I go to the Phillies game on Memorial Day, and I'm seeing Trey Turner lead off, and then Schwarber, and then Harper. And I'm thinking, wow, now that's a lineup. And Jerry Coleman and I did that for 1,000 years when the Padres were not good and they were a bad team. And we'd make out our scorecards, and Jerry would say, we got no chance. and I shouldn't be saying that, but it's true. Look at their starter. Look at our starter. Look at our shortstop. 42 hoppers get past him. Look at their shortstop. It's Nomar Garciaparra. That kind of thing. So I went through that era. That makes me appreciate these teams much better because they're good.
And we know, Teddy's been watching Padres baseball since the late 70s. None of us can compete. But, Chris, you've been in this market since, the early 90s, watching a lot of Padres baseball and a lot of bad teams. And those bad teams, I remember what they look like. There were errors. There was incompetent baseball. There was bad base running, bad decisions, guys who didn't have their heads in the game. So I don't call this is not a bad baseball team.
No.
This is a good baseball team that is not hitting right now is what I see.
Yeah, I think what Ted was trying to say there, too, is he saw a couple of hitting slumps. One of them was the 1970s. I think the whole
entire decade, right? The decade
the whole
was,
decade,
right?
yeah, or even the 80s to a certain extent after the championship season of '84. Yeah, I can't call them a bad team at all. I mean, there's so many good teams, quote, good teams, that are really having really bad years. I mean, the Tigers are sitting at the bottom of their division. They're supposed to be in the World Series, and obviously the Mets has been documented. So. Now, this is what it is right now. I think that, I'm trying to look at it from the perspective of they still won 3 games on this homestand despite hitting 182. They still won 3 games on this homestand despite the fact in 9 games they had 1 hit that drove in a run besides home runs. Home runs accounted for almost all their scoring on this homestand. 1 hit. Gavin Sheets had a 2-run single in the A's game a week ago Friday.
Yeah, the other hit with a runner in scoring position didn't drive in a run.
Right. I'm just saying.
From second to third.
It's incredible. I mean, just a simple guys on second, you get jammed, bloop it over the infield, and a run scores. They can't even do that right now. But they're still finding a way to hang in there and keep their head above water. And you just got to believe because you can't trade the whole team, so these guys have got to come out of it.
Braden, fundamentally in your mind, if you have to put a label on it, is this a good team or is this a bad team?
I think they're a good team. I think their pitching staff shows that they're a good team. I think their bullpen is obviously, and we don't need to say it too much because they are one of the best in Major League Baseball and have the best ERA in the month of May in Major League Baseball. So I think they're a good team. I think they're going through a slump right now. They did the exact same thing last year in May. Last year in May, they went 500. And then in June, they had a losing record. And then they went off and then had a couple of winning months. And in July, August, and September, they have kind of had this little bit of a stretch in the last handful of years, especially the years that they've made the postseason. So I mean, this happens. You're going to get some slumps. And I just look at the teams like the other teams throughout the National League that are good teams, and they've all had bad stretches already to a certain extent. I mean, you look at the Cubs. They've had 2 10-game winning streaks and a 10-game losing streak. And going into last night's game, they found their way into last place. Now, in the NL Central, winning record puts you in last place. But, they're dealing with their own problems as well. So I think a lot of teams are dealing with issues right now. You're going to see that. And right now, the Padres are part of their slump. I don't think this will continue the entire year. And if I had to pick a time, which you don't get to pick before the season of when you're going to slump, I'd rather have it be in May than in August or September going into the postseason.
And Uncle Teddy, I made the point on our show this morning, and I'm not comparing these Padres to any other teams, but the 1984 team, they went through a big slump, if I remember. The 1998 team had an epic June swoon. Even good teams do look bad, especially at the plate, over stretches of the season.
And to use that and say that's baseball is not an excuse, because it is. The game, as Bart Giamatti said, the game is designed to drive you crazy. I mean, as a fan, executive, ball player. I remember when Jeff Kent retired, and it was such a bizarre news conference. It was like, I'm retiring, and thank God. And people thought, what are you talking about? You have no idea what this game is like. The pressure. And the game is so difficult to play, and all the other things we know about. The great ones fail 7 out of 10 times at the plate. This game will bring you to your knees. So Kent said, I've succeeded. I've been an all-star. Some people think I might be a Hall of Famer, but you have no idea the stress that I've been. I'm not complaining. The money was great. But that is baseball. It is singularly with one person, is that way as a team. I've seen it for a million years, and other people have been in it longer than me had seen it. And as Braden mentioned, look at this year. The Phillies were really struggling. The Astros have been horrible. So the Mets, as he mentioned, and they're starting to make their moves now, and they're getting to where they've been, 8 games under 500. They're a game under 500 now. It is absolutely cyclical. It is in baseball. And yes, the Padres are concerned because there's no Musgrove, and that changes so much on the pitching side. You lose Darvish. You have to have Joe competes. I remember facing him when he's with the Pirates, and I thought to myself, at that time I had not met him, and I thought, God, this guy competes. He is something else. This is a leader. This is a great clubhouse guy, and you're missing a gigantic part of your heart. And that happened last year, and they've been able to overcome that, and that has been a big problem. So you need to hit more, and basically it's Sheets and Andujar that are hitting. Now that's a collective slump. It does not continue for long periods of time, going by baseball being baseball.
I'll add the Mariners to your list. They were so bad. Right. They lost every single game to the Padres this year, and they're back in first place.
Absolutely.
Every team in that division, Braden, has a losing record, unlike the NL Central where they all have a winning record. Woods, you can be emotional like fans.
I'm better now than I used to be.
A little better, but what does your heart tell you about this team? Good team fundamentally, or not good team fundamentally? What does your heart tell you?
They make me insane. They make me insane because I know these.
Bart Giamatti again.
I know these. I know these players. You know them. You cover them. You love them. You root for them. Your kids adore them. Right. In the case of my house, all those guys that are struggling right now are absolutely adored in my home by my children. Adored, and you hate to see them go through it. So I'm going to reserve hope that they pull out of it. That's really my only option as a fan. I'm not going to not watch, even if this continues. I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to be watching. I would regardless, but because I love the game, I love the team. But yeah, man, a team is the thing that we're forgetting, right? And some of the, you hate to say lesser than members, were carrying this team for a while. Once those guys have fallen off a little bit, it's really hard to maintain, and you're seeing a little bit of that right now. But I have hope.
It's our Epic Wings, Epic Padres Roundtable. Epic Wings, always fresh, never frozen, just like Ted Leitner, as he mentioned. But you know what? You joked
to this point.
Well, it is freezing in here. Just
joked
FYI.
when we came in, older gentlemen. And this is something that we haven't really talked much about with the Padres. They have the 3rd oldest roster in Major League Baseball. Do you guys think that age in any way is playing a part in some of the struggles that we're seeing? Do they need some new blood, younger blood? Now, to be fair, Jackson Merrill's plenty young. He's struggling. Fernando Tatis Jr. in his prime, he's been struggling. So it's not everybody, but they do have an older roster. Is that now, Braden, a problem for the San Diego Padres?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are. Do you know where the Dodgers are on that list? Because they got a lot of old veteran players that are kind of their core too, and
when it works, it's very savvy.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
very
so maybe everybody should have older teams and be like the Dodgers, but I don't think that's the case. And I think you mentioned it, Ben. I mean, Jackson Merrill and Fernando are two of the younger players in Major League Baseball, and you mentioned Tatis is in his prime years now at 27, and Jackson Merrill, one of those young pieces. I mean, you could go with whatever path you want. You can have a young, talented team, but that team usually runs out of gas at some point during a season in Major League Baseball where you do need that veteran experience. I don't think anything that's with the Padres slumps right now has to do with age. When you look at their metrics, and we've talked about this a lot, obviously, when we have to dissect the same thing over and over again for 4 straight hours for 5 days a week, you start to look at some of the metrics, and a lot of their swing speeds and the aging metrics, if you will, are still locked into what they were, maybe a little bit less from their prime, like the Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machados, but still at elite levels. So I don't think it's an age thing. I just think it's the the time of the year where, unfortunately for the Padres, they got multiple guys struggling at the same time.
Chris, I do wonder at maybe fringe guys like Nick Castellanos starting to show his age, and I'm not sure if he's going to make it to the end of the season on this roster. If he doesn't hit a little more consistently defensively, he's a liability. There may be some opportunities for the Padres to try to get a little bit younger as this season goes on.
I've been looking at everything like everyone else, and so I went down to the minor league roster there at El Paso to see what I could find. And of course, the top guy there is Bowen. He's got all these home runs. He's also struck out 53 times and 110 at bats or something. So
Strikes out a lot.
If he's striking out almost 50% of the time in AAA, I mean, are we ready to turn a spot over to him? And so, I mean, I don't have a lot of answers like that. I don't want to pick on Castellanos any more than I already have this year. To me, he's given us a few clutch hits. Hopefully he can give us a few more. I don't have any great answers, but one thing I have discovered looking around baseball, and I think some of us have seen this now, the last horrible hitting season throughout baseball was before the Padres existed. It was 1968, the year of the pitcher, and the team batting average throughout baseball that year was 237. The Detroit Tigers won the World Series and hit 225. The next year, they lowered the mound to make it more fair. This year, the batting average across baseball is only 2 points higher than that, 239. The Yankees are hitting 220 against starting pitching, and they're the Yankees. So this is trending a little bit in that direction. It's hitting us a little harder, though, than the other teams.
So you're saying lower the mound. Yes. That's what we're looking for again.
Don't lower the age, lower the mound.
Why have a mound? Just have it flat.
Teddy,
flat ground.
You've seen Padres teams that were still wet behind the ears. You've seen experienced teams like the 84 team with Nettles and Garvey. Yeah. Generally, it's the experienced teams. The older, that is usually a good thing in Major League Baseball when you have players who know what they're doing and have been around the block a little bit.
Incredibly important. And you do need a mix if you can get that mix. And AJ has done that, has tried to do that, and everybody does in terms of setting up a roster. And they would like to mix in young guys. Everybody does. But you got to have the veterans. You do. Totally young teams are not going to win unless they have, a Glavine, a Smoltz, and a Maddox kind of a thing. And nobody does. So I think, for me, it really is a perspective. It isn't age. It isn't how many years I broadcast. It was a lot of bad teams and a lot of bad baseball. And we broadcast that baseball, and our job is to make it sound on radio that it was, competitive and it was good. I thought as a broadcaster, it was also my job to point out, since the radio guy is your eyes and ears, and this didn't start back then, they had radios in the stadium. That was not the case early on in my career. So that kind of thing of, hey, that ball's got to be caught. Or normally, and I would say things like, normally that, a shortstop will get that, but that's a 42 hopper that goes for a base hit with the Padres shortstop. And they didn't like me for saying that. And a lot of the fans didn't like me, but I thought it was incumbent upon me to say that. And it didn't make me very popular, but I thought I had to be honest. And I'm telling you, there were some bad teams. We had an outfielder that Bob Ochinko, one of the pitchers, said, when asked about him, he is pretty decent at picking up a ground ball when it stops rolling. That's his own teammate. That's his own teammate. We had a guy who was said to be replacing when Dave Winfield was going to go to the Yankees or going somewhere. They hadn't said the Yankees yet. I went on Channel 8 and I said, they're going to put him in there instead of Winfield. And I said, let me caution you that when you enter a Volkswagen at the Indy 500, you better know a hell of a shortstop. You better know a hell of a shortcut and that kind of thing. And I got very unpopular with the players for saying those things, but they were bad teams. So that's why my perspective on a team that's got a Manny Machado, I go back to free agency. He was a done deal with the Phillies and the White Sox. Manny's going there. San Diego Padres, they're not in the deal. They're not in the mix for Manny Machado. All that stuff is ancient history that I was part of. Now they acquire a Tatis and give him $300 million. Now they have a Manny. Then they got the pitching and they picked up Darvish and King and all those guys. To me, this is the golden age of Padre baseball with a few individual, like you mentioned, Ben, in terms of 84 and 96. And even like you mentioned, 84, 96 right before the All-Star break, boom, 5-game losing streak. Oh my God, what's happening? 84. The second half of 84, the worse they played, and they played bad, the further ahead they went because the division, even with the Reds and the Braves, was bad. It was a great time for the Padres to be dominant. So I've seen all these slumps, and I've seen them in 98. So my theory is a guy who saw the really, really bad, and I forget who it was, that they picked up a shortstop. And I said on the air that Padres need a shortstop in the worst way. And this guy is a shortstop in the worst way.
That sounds like
that got me a call. That got me a call from the CEO at the station and reminded me, we're paying you to broadcast the games. I know, but it's my audience on Channel 8. And that's not a Padre audience. I've got to be honest.
That's elite.
I want to stop down because this is a topic I wanted to broach. I mentioned it to Woods on the show today. All of us, Chris, Braden, Woods, Tony Gwynn Jr., myself, get called chills for the team. We can't be honest. The fans want us to rip the team more when they're not playing well. I personally, I'm not afraid to call out bad ball playing when I see it. If they're making mental mistakes, I'm going to say that. I haven't seen a lot of that. What I have trouble with is yelling at them for not being able to hit. Because I know that I can't do it. No one else who's listening to this audience can even hope to go out and do it. I know how hard it is.
Yell at that table until you get water. I'm going to yell at that table until it gives me some water because you're wasting your time. This is baseball. That's what I said. 2 words. That's baseball. They will slump individually. They will slump collectively, and they're doing it right now. And it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It goes long. All the other cliches, but it's the old Ali used to say, if it's true, it's not a cliche, and it happens to be true. Relax. When I look at teams like this and think of the teams that Jerry and I had, like I mentioned, this is, I'll say it again, the golden age of Padre baseball. Look at the stands. Feel the atmosphere. This is a great time for Padre baseball, and I have no reason to say that.
Right.
I'm not an ambassador anymore. My love affair with them continues, including this ownership and the executives. I would not say a bad word about them now after what I've had. My entire adult life has been with the Padres, but I'm telling you the truth. It's been a great era.
But what I really want to know is back then, how did you balance it? Because you had your TV responsibilities, Lightner strikes, you had your editorials, you were outspoken. A lot of people loved you for it, but you were also a team broadcaster and you were working for the Padres.
It's very difficult.
I mean, how did you get through it all without making everybody mad all the time? And maybe you did, but hey, you still stayed employed for decades upon decades.
juggling all the time and trying to save all these masters. And I got lucky because Joan Kroc liked me, and before that, Ray Kroc liked me, and Ray Kroc would hear me say something at 11 about you need to get rid of that guy or something like that, and he would call Ballard Smith, the CEO, and said, "Hey, Leitner's right. We need to get rid of that guy." And Ballard would call me and say, "Listen. You and I both know you don't have a goddamn clue what you're talking about. Would you shut up? Would you please shut up? Because every time you say something like that, Ray wants me to get rid of this guy, and I'm not going to get rid of this guy. And now I have to hope that Ray doesn't remember that he told me to get rid of this guy." These are actual conversations. I had lunch with Ballard last week. And no, actually, a few days ago, had lunch with Ballard and other executives from the 80s. I do that all the time with San Diego State. And it's a wonderful, it's storytelling and lies, all that stuff from the old days. It's just wonderful. But it was like that. And Joan, early on, before I had that great relationship with her, she would literally call Ballard and say, "Do we pay him? Do we pay him?" And Ballard would say, "Yes." "Well, he just said that we were in collusion in not signing ball players. That's a reflection on me." And so when Ballard mentioned, I said, "Well, I love Joan, but it is a reflection on her because all the owners have gotten together and they are colluding. Yeah. And when they make an offer to Andre Dawson with the Cubs for $500,000 a year, that's called collusion. They got caught by the court. It cost them $200 million to distribute among the players. So if I lied and I was incorrect, then come see me. But what did I say that was wrong? But I used to put up with that heat all the time, and it's not comfortable. I would get it in the clubhouse, and wow. I remember in '84 when Gossage threw Barry Bloom of the Evening Tribune out of the clubhouse. And don't even think about coming back. You're banned. You're totally banned. Barry has a book that's coming out about that '84 season. I can't wait to read it. And he had to go and to the Baseball Writers of America and then go, "Well, I'm credentialed. They can't throw me out." And the key here was the Garv. The Garv for all his peccadillos and remember those bumper stickers? "Honk of Steve Garbage, your Padre." Remember that? I love Steve. But it was so entertaining for me on the air when he was going through that situation. And I would say, "Look, I know these women, they love Steve. All he's trying to do is return that love, one woman at a time." So what's the big deal? But the Garv went to Gossage and said, "Goose, these guys have jobs to do. They publicize this. They make us money. They're very important for the sport of baseball. Let him back in." And they did.
Wow.
I thought of your
that's a banger.
As you know,
that was
Ted,
amazing.
thank you so much. And by the way, Ted, you can say all of these criticisms and things you've heard. You've landed in the Padre Hall of Fame for a reason,
right?
And that's because you were fantastic, and we loved you and still love you. But I was thinking of like, should Craig Stammen have one of these, throw some stuff around the clubhouse and break a urinal and, get upset at a question? Billy Martin would have fought somebody by now, right? Sure. If they asked him, "How come you're not hitting?" And I thought of the greatest meltdown any manager's ever had, the 1983 Lee Elia, the Chicago Cubs. I think most of us have seen it, heard of it.
Classic.
And if you haven't, look it up. You will not be sorry. But he did that meltdown in 24 games into a season that they were off to a bad start, the Cubs. I looked that up. That Cub team finished 20 games under 500. So it doesn't necessarily work. It blows off a lot of steam, but it doesn't really change anything.
It's our Epic Wings, Epic Padres Roundtable, commercial free on 97.3 The Fan. Epic Wings, always fresh, never frozen. And Woods, I want to touch on something that Uncle Teddy said about how Ray Kroc and Joan Kroc, liked him and had his support. That is so big for us as broadcasters when we feel like the owner is going to be reasonable. Ron Fowler was like that. He wasn't afraid to criticize his own team. He wasn't afraid for us to criticize the team. Peter Seidler said, "Hey, let us have it." Enjoyed listening as he walked around. We didn't get to know John Seidler that much in the last couple of years, but I feel like we've been pretty lucky. Got new owners coming in. I think we can only hope that Jose Feliciano and Kwanzaa Jones have similar mentality to some of the recent owners of the San Diego Padres who have had that same perspective that it's okay to criticize. If we're playing bad ball, let us know we're playing bad ball.
I'd be lying if I said they hadn't popped in my head this week during these offensive struggles. You're looking at this going, "This is what we spent all this money on?" Oh my God. No, I absolutely agree with you. Ron called me an idiot one time on text. It was great. I loved it. But he also said, no, hammer us if we deserve to be hammered. And, this team this year, there's some things you can hammer about them, but they're not in full hammer mode yet.
Teddy, there's been some good owners. There's been some less than good owners as well. Any ownership stories that you can share with us over the years from the San Diego Padres?
Wow.
Statute of limitations has expired on some of these.
And stay on the air?
Yeah.
Woo wee!
I always loved the one about Joan Crock getting thrown in the pool. Was that?
She got thrown in the pool by Goose Gossage. Who if you remember during one season when she was very much Ray was an alcoholic. Ray, I was around Ray. Ray was a nasty drunk, nasty drunk, a brilliant. I mean, just an unbelievable, brilliant businessman. He changed the way the country eats.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did. There was no such thing as fast food. There were no drive-thrus. There were no little speakers. And so, I mean, the guy was an absolute visionary in his early 50s. And it's a great story. Just a great story. And I remember that Ray was incredible. He was so tough. We had an interview with Reggie Jackson when he first became a free agent. And he went to Baltimore, I believe it was, after Oakland first, if I may be mistaken. And he had an interview with Ray. And during that, he had wanted this salary, suite on the road instead of a regular room, no roommate, and he wanted a full-length fur coat. Now, to ask Ray Kroc this, an old-fashioned guy from Chicago, was a big mistake. So Ray breaks off those negotiations, comes out to the news conference and says, this guy, Reggie Jackson, he thinks he's God, but he's not. I am. That's Ray. That's Ray. I would sit in his office on 2A at the old stadium. He was in his wheelchair. He had a stroke, and I would just sit and pick his brain and learn business. And he would say, Ted, I'll tell you the secret to business in terms of competing. When your competition is drowning, stick a hose in his mouth. That's how tough he was. That's how tough he was.
Wow.
And you know the story of opening his first game ever, and he takes the microphone, and that all happened. This is the worst baseball playing I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. And then just at that time, that was a streaker. Yeah. The streaker comes naked across. Get that guy. Put him in jail. I mean, Ray was such a fun guy to be around, but you never knew what the hell. And he got called for tampering. I forget, it was Gossage initially, way before we got him. It was Gossage and one other that he was saying, we need to get that Goose Gossage guy and so on. So you're not allowed to do that. That's tampering. They fined him $100,000. So he was very much like Ted Turner, who came after him, and owners like that, and Steinbrenner. But I'm not comparing Ray to Steinbrenner or anybody to Steinbrenner. When I look at the owners I had worked for with Ray and Joan Kroc, Tom Werner, who loved baseball, bought a team at the wrong time, right after collusion, when the money was skyrocketing, and he had not planned to spend that kind of money. And then you get John Moores, who loved baseball, and it was like working for your dad. It was absolutely a family. So, and I've had the same thing. I've never had a sidler during my broadcast time, 10 years with them. Never had one sidler tell me, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't have said this. You should say this. You should say that. Not one interference in my life. So I'm the wrong one to ask. The ownerships with the Padres, every single one of them was literally like family to me.
Let's get back to the current iteration of the San Diego Padres. The Athletic has been reporting that the Padres have been acquiring about additional bullpen arms in the trade market, including Aroldis Chapman, Josh Hader. And while I certainly understand the strategy of adding to a strength, can anybody make sense of this for me, Braden? I mean, how does this make sense for a team that can't hit, that has some starting pitching depth issues, to use their resources to target even more bullpen arms?
I think Tony on Friday made perfect sense for this when he was on Gwynn and Chris. And when you start to think about it from his perspective, it makes a lot of sense now. So, what's the most glaring need for this team? Batting, right? Yeah. Hitting. He said, and I agree with this, he goes, well, the guys that are currently not hitting on your team are the stars. The guys that are hitting on your team are the ones that are the ones that you would replace. So if you went and got a bat, who would they replace in the lineup? Because it's not like you're going to, sit down Fernando. You're not going to sit Machado. You're not going to sit Bogarts or Jackson Merrill. Those are the guys that have really been struggling. I think you can make somewhat of an argument about like the Castellanos, maybe for position, me. Right? Yeah. Maybe you go get a catcher, but you don't have Luis Camposano right now. Right. Maybe he can be that void. So when in terms of like getting a bat, Tony brought up the argument of, well, where is he going to play exactly? Unless you ship somebody off or you decide to make Laureano a bench piece, which I don't think anybody really wants to do. So if you are going to use your resources, why would you do it on a bat if the guys that aren't performing are the stars that you can't replace anyway. Then he talked about starting pitching. That's going to cost you a ton of money, ton of prospect capital. You maybe only be doing that for a rental. So if you're going to add, why not add to the strength of the bullpen? And because when that article came out, I thought the same thing. I'm like, what do they need to add to the bullpen for? But when Tony laid it out like that, to me, that makes a lot of sense of it's not like your supporting cast isn't doing the job. Your stars aren't doing the job. So you can't replace them in a trade particularly. But, I guess if you get close to the deadline and Ty France and Andujar and all these guys starting to come back down to earth or maybe falter a little bit, then you would add a bat. But I thought that was an interesting perspective, Ben.
It's, which bats are going to be available with so many teams
Also,
still in it is a big question. And I saw someone make the suggestion on social media, which usually I just dismiss them all, but depending on whether Jake Cronenworth comes back, and we don't know how long he's going to be out with that concussion. It looked pretty serious. Renato Tatis Jr. has been stepping in, but you could always put him back in right field where he's a Platinum Glove winner, get a second baseman. And someone said, well, the Giants are looking pretty out of it, and guess who's playing really good second base? Could the Padres be interested in a reunion with Luis Arraez in the trade market before the trade deadline?
There's another. I thought about another former Padre too. That I don't know if they would have the. Could you imagine if AJ Preller traded for CJ Abrams at the deadline? I'm just saying. Like,
I know.
They got the Nationals this weekend, right? You're gonna have to listen to everybody talk. Every time CJ Abrams and James Wood hit a home run this weekend, you're gonna talk about how we lost the Soto trade. Could you imagine if he did that?
CJ Abrams will be pricey.
Right. I mean, it would be
Arraez will be fairly cheap. If the Giants are out of it, he's on a one-year deal. He's going to be a free agent anyway. They'll probably look to pick up any prospect. Would we be interested, Woods? In batting average, it's one thing that he does.
We turned him into like a 280 hitter here, so I'm convinced Barry Bonds wouldn't
hit here. We need a 280 hitter here.
That's true. You're right.
That's true.
That's a really good point.
That's true.
280 is the moon right now. I mean, 280 would be amazing. You're right. No, I mean, whatever. At this point, I'm going to throw whatever I can at the wall and see what sticks. And it's an awful odd strategy, but one, I think we're kind of saddled with it, right? At this point, like I always say it, this is the soup. You don't have a choice what goes in it. Here's the soup. You either eat the soup or you don't, and that's your option. You don't. That's been the thing. Like, so I'm just going to sit every night. I'm going to eat my soup. And that's it.
Was it fresh or frozen?
It's
soup
frozen.
First? It's frozen soup.
Yep.
Oh man.
No, I'm whatever, Ben. If Luis Arraez, fine. Just don't put him in the 2.
Is he going to bat second every time?
Just don't put him in the 2.
Is Craig Stammen going to move him up and down in the lineup?
Craig Stammen will move him all around.
Yeah, he will.
Teddy,
you'll have him playing third too. He'll mix it up.
Yeah. Teddy, what do you think?
Is that a rise in center field?
I hate to use cliches, but it really is the truth. I mean, if you get a pitcher. Cliche number, I believe, 17 is that you cannot have enough pitching.
Right.
So you have that capital. And if then you need at the deadline to get a bat, you have that pitching capital, which is very, very valuable to use for not just some ham and egger, as Jerry used to call them, the Yanigans. You get a pretty solid bat for a pitcher, then you have the depth to be able to give up a pitcher from your bullpen, which they will certainly be able to do that. And I hate to go back to a football coach, but when you look at Manny Machado and all these guys, it's the old football coaches say you got to dance with who brung you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. These are your guys. These are our guys.
The soup. Yeah, they're the soup.
Exactly. And it's not going to change. And you're not going to have a 12-player deal in this day and age. The contracts are too complicated.
Yep.
And you have contracts with the Padres, quite frankly, in terms of Tati and Manny that you cannot move.
Right.
And they are the face of the franchise. And there's public relations involved and everything else. You do dance with who brung you. These are the Padre veterans. You don't, during a slump, start making deals. You just don't. And you have to have patience in this game or you're going to look stupid because it's really hard. You and I, this group can get together in the NFL and study the draft and make some pretty darn good choices in the first 3 rounds. Most really good fans could do that. In baseball,
no.
Totally different.
Oh, that's a crap.
Totally different science. Very, very difficult. AJ, early on had his problems like everybody else. He was learning. He's pretty darn good now. Pretty darn good. In AJ, we trust. And with these veterans that are the veterans, you stay with them, and slumps are not alarms. They're not alarm bells. They're just not. It's part of baseball.
Chris, before we move on, any thoughts on targeting bullpen help before hitting potentially at the trade deadline?
I wasn't here Friday. I can't believe Tony Gwynn Jr. said something that great and I wasn't around. No, it makes what he said makes a lot of sense because I've thought kind of the same thing. I mean, if you're going to bring in a hitter, who are you going to put on the bench? And are you giving up on Jay Cronenworth? Are you going to Laureano? I mean, he had a bad month of May, but is that it? So you're not replacing too many of these guys. They're here to stay. So if you don't give up any runs, at least you can carry the game to extra innings till somebody scores.
All right, hold on to that thought. We'll revisit potential moves in a minute. It is our Epic Padres Roundtable brought to you by Epic Wings, always fresh, never frozen, here on 97.3 The Fan. Ted Leitner is our special panelist this week. And Ted, each week we do the seventh inning stretch, which is a non-Padres, non-baseball topic for us to discuss. So today's seventh inning stretch. Uncle Teddy, longtime spokesperson for DZ Aikens, old school New York deli.
First, we're talking about soup. Now we're talking about deli
sandwiches in the college area. So today's seventh inning stretch question for everybody. Chris, I will start with you. Food related and simple. What is your all-time favorite sandwich?
I mean, the Ted Leitner is pretty damn good.
What is on the Ted Leitner?
Aikens. It's piled high with pastrami
Ted
and corned beef, is it not?
Pastrami.
Yeah.
I chose American cheese because I don't get enough taste from Swiss. But with corned beef and pastrami, normally you should go with Swiss. As Debbie Aikens has told me many, many times, the owner, why did you pick American cheese? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I'm just not a Swiss fan. I don't taste it as like provolone. I don't get enough bang from it, from some zest. So I like American, but that's a good sandwich, man.
But there's before I give Teddy any more a pub on his sandwich, there honestly is a sandwich out there named for me.
Oh, that's right.
Crisello pulled pork
Cali
sandwich down there in
Cali Barbecue.
Cali Barbecue in Spring Valley. So
nice.
Try that one.
Is it just pulled pork? Is there anything else on it?
Did you get to pick
Coleslaw?
that
What
stuff?
do you got on it?
I didn't design it.
I know.
They had it in mind to design a sandwich called the Monte Crisello.
That's
hilarious.
clever. That's
right.
That Ben would want to come with.
Okay, so they were going to do that. They were going to do that for me, and I thought, wow, that's really nice, guys. And then they decided that particular pairing of food wouldn't sell to their customers. So they said, we're going to give you a pulled pork sando instead. And I said, okay. So
Woods, I know you have a man of simple taste.
Yes.
Your favorite all-time sandwich.
Man, I tell you, I like a good chicken salad, man. I can't get enough of it. I can't find I still haven't found the perfect mix. I try it all everywhere I go.
And Jersey Mike says their chicken salad.
Is it back?
Yeah, it's back.
Oh,
yes. I know you love Jersey Mike.
You just made my day. It's like seasonal. And I'll probably eat before Monday. I'll probably have at least 4. That's no joke because theirs is really good. Still not perfect, but a good chicken salad.
The only thing I can
sandwich.
think of when you say chicken salad sandwich is Jack Nicholson and was it 5 Easy Pieces?
Exactly what it was. Yes,
Yeah.
ordering in the diner.
Can I get some toast? We don't have toast. You have chicken salad sandwich, don't you? Leave out the chicken salad. Anyway, it's a classic scene.
Braden, your favorite all-time sandwich?
My family has been, for the ones that have been here for a long time, that grew up in Little Italy with all the Italians, they used to always go to Mona Lisa's, continued the tradition to the deli down there. That's like a number one spot for us. And so at Mona Lisa's, I usually get the number 18. They all get like number 8 or whatever it is. But I get the spicy sandwich that they have. I get it with you get the capicola on there, the spicy sopressata. I go with fresh mozzarella. It's a little bit of an upgrade. Put it on focaccia bread sometimes down there at Mona Lisa's. But I can't really go wrong with any sandwich down there at Mona Lisa's. That's kind of my favorite spot.
And then having watched all the Sopranos, maybe 10 times, that when we say capicola,
gabagool.
Gabagool.
The gabagool.
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 Well, Ted, you have a sandwich named after you, but you've also traveled for years with the Padres, the food cities, New York, everywhere. I mean, have you found anything better? What's your favorite?
Well, I didn't know we could do this because it would have been that Philly cheesesteak we had.
Oh,
that's my number one sandwich of all time.
Cheesesteak.
Where was it? Angelo's
Philly cheesesteak. That was
oh my god! I dream about it.
We used to go when the Padres stayed in their hotel in Manhattan at that time, and it was the Grand Hyatt on 42nd in Lexington, and then they moved over east toward 7th Avenue, and so that was where the Carnegie Delicatessen was.
Ooh.
And New Yorkers don't say deli. They say Carnegie Delicatessen because it is authentic. And then a block and a half away was the Stage Delicatessen, where I almost punched Jackie Mason, the entertainer, who was standing at the bar, and my wife at the time.
Because of Caddyshack 2?
I was there. I was there.
Terrible movie, Jackie.
I was there with my wife, and she was and still is incredibly gorgeous. And Jackie Mason just stood there staring at her the entire time. And I said, I don't need to take this from that little guy. I can take that guy. He's bigger than this guy. I can kick this guy's butt. I don't take to that. So I kind of sauntered over. And I said, Jackie, I'm telling you what the San Diego Padres are here. Oh, and I said, you're looking at my wife all the time. She's really beautiful. I know that. But give it a rest, okay? That was the conversation.
He was leering.
Yeah, but when you went to the Carnegie, and I would go with Bob Scanlon, I go with a bunch of people, and sometimes with a couple of players who had never seen anything like the Carnegie Delicatessen, because the sandwiches, when I say they were a foot high, they were a foot high. You had to break them down and take some of the meat off. It was absolutely unbelievable. Speaking of corned beef and pastrami, they had the Woody Allen at what was the Ted Leitner at D.C. Aikens was the Woody Allen in Without the Baggage.
Right. I was going to say, I was trying to think of a clever quip there.
Yeah, and I'm a big Woody Allen fan, but then I became not so much big of a Woody Allen fan. I did love his line about restaurants was that the food here is terrible and the portions are so small. Huh? That was his ultimate. And that he had a date in New York City, and he was in a cab, and she was so gorgeous he could barely keep his eyes on the meter. That's Woody Allen. That's Woody Allen. And the Woody Allen was corned beef and pastrami, and it literally was over a foot high.
It's crazy.
And their meats, they made their own smoked meats, and
cured it all themselves. Yeah,
the greatest of all time. And then ever since. Myself and Dave Marcus and Jesse in that era started wearing the black armband when they closed it forever.
Oh man.
They closed because the woman who won it from her husband in the divorce didn't want to work. So instead of selling it and having to sell the name, she was licensing restaurants in Chicago and in Madison Square Garden and in Vegas, and she got those licensing fees. So she didn't sell it, she just closed it. And that was the end of the greatest, in my opinion, deli of all time.
All right, I'll finish up. And I know Woods is expecting me to say something like lobster roll.
Yeah, something fancy.
Very fancy. But the best all-time sandwich, just overall, is just a really good grilled cheese.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be a really good grilled cheese sandwich. Simple, delicious, always. All right, we got a few minutes left. The Padres are on an off day. Are we expecting tomorrow, will there be some sort of shakeup move, whether it's a roster change, a coaching change of some sort? And if so, what could the Padres do going into their series in Washington? Woods, will there be a shakeup at all before the start of the series?
No, I was kind of racking my brain during our show for the last shakeup, right, that you had for the San Diego Padres. I feel like we're more likely to go the opposite route, maybe hang on a little bit too long to maybe somebody that's not contributing. So I don't know. The answer is I don't think there will be. Do I think there should be? Sure.
Anything,
why not?
Something.
Change something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never believe in just making a move, Ted,
to make a
move's sake.
That's been part of baseball forever. Firing managers, early in the season, late in the season, window dressing, what I call false hustle nonsense. Well, we had to do something, and that's basically the meetings. That's the meetings of the front office.
Yeah,
we got to do something. We got to show the fans we're into this and we're doing something. So let's do something. No, why don't you do nothing? Because it doesn't do any good. But it's the kind of thing by rote you go and do it. Once again, we go back to guys like Bum Phillips, Dance with Who Brung Ya, and. Changes don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. And you don't have guys who are better hitters than the guys you have had and are now slumping. I just think it's window dressing. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Chris, your stat about Chase Bowen certainly gives pause.
Sure.
If you're striking out a ton at the minor league level, you're probably going to really be unsuccessful at the major league level.
We strike out a lot at the major league level already. So,
well, I mean,
fits right in.
And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Ethan Salas remains very hot in the minor leagues. Freddie Fermin hasn't gotten a hit in more than 20 plate appearances. He's hitting like 140 now this season.
That's all Campy got last year, by the way. It was 21 plate appearances, and he was persona non grata.
We've seen so many teams reach down and promote top prospects this season, a lot of them with good results. Is there risks to it? We discussed those, of advancing a guy too soon before he's ready. AJ Preller told us that he wants to see more from Ethan Salas, but I don't know that there's a lot of argument that Ethan Salas wouldn't be better than what the Padres are getting right now.
He's mashing
behind
still.
the plate, and he continues to hit again at the AA level.
That was
right
like 3 weeks ago. We talked to AJ, and AJ's like, "Nah, you give him some more time." I'm like, "All right, well, more time's passed now." You're slumping. Is there pressure on him maybe to go? Hey, why not? Because we've all heard, all of us have heard, he's ready defensively today.
I asked Tony that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tony's probably rolling his eyes
he is.
right now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, now Tony's he's got thinks all this stuff through. But I said, can we ruin the guy really if we bring him up for a month? And
He said yes.
190, and he said yes.
He said
and
yes.
I said, well, then I guess there's a risk involved. We don't have enough time to get into the hitting coach, and I've heard you guys talk about it on the morning show, and we brought it up a bunch of times.
I get asked about it so many times.
We can go through all the stories of all the pitching coaches the Padres have let go, and none of them have changed a thing.
That's a separate hour show.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I just want to leave everybody with the thought, maybe, if this keeps up for another couple of weeks, a month, it's not that I don't think Sousa's doing a great job, but maybe it's just time for another voice. Maybe they need a voice that they haven't heard yet. We cannot continue down this road. I don't think anybody wants to, till the All-Star break and beyond.
Right.
So, the Phillies, I thought it was silly that they fired Robbie Thompson so early. It's
Look at him
worked out
now.
pretty well.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's going to.
Has it worked out, or is the fact that they got to play the Rockies and Giants and a bunch of lousy teams
And the Padres.
worked out for them?
Well, you're not wrong, Braden. I'm not trying to fire the hitting coach. I'm saying that you can't get rid of everybody on the team.
No.
Maybe another voice is needed, something new. Because everything. I'm sure they're trying everything right now.
I do wonder if Nick Castellanos' time is drawing to a close. My worry would be they love him in that clubhouse. He's certainly not a negative there. He's a positive,
huge positive
influence in the Padres clubhouse. But
and that matters.
Defensively, I saw a video just showing
the Toddy
the
thing.
one
Oh
that
my
Fernando
God.
Tatis Jr. would have gotten to easily, 80% catch percentage, and Castellanos isn't getting it out there. He's a liability defensively. He's not hitting at the plate. As much as you may love him, there's only so long that he can remain on the major league roster before you find someone else. You can pick up a replacement level player who plays defense. You play Bryce Johnson out there, you at least have some defense. If he's not going to hit any clutch home runs, is that where you make the change? Braden?
I think that's just like the easiest change that you could potentially make. All of these ideas that we're throwing out there are just us basically yelling uncle after 4 weeks of doing the roundtable and trying to figure out what's wrong with the offense. We don't get paid to do that. That's not there's guys down there in the Padres organization get paid to figure out what's wrong with the offense. To go back to the Ethan Salas thing, can you ruin a player? That I feel like that's the case for guys that have always had success that have never dealt with adversity. Ethan Salas has dealt with adversity already, and he's been challenged a lot and he's responded. So I feel like he might not be a victim of that because they brought him up super early and he struggled as a 17, 18-year-old. He missed all of last year with an injury. He came back from that, and now he's really starting to hit his stride. I feel like he's passed the adversity test, and that's kind of the big thing that you're worried about with some of those guys at the lower level. But to go back to what you're saying about a move, I really don't think Steven Sousa, if you change him, it's going to make that big of a difference. At the end of the day, the guys that you pay a lot of money to carry the team are not carrying the team, and they're not playing well. And until they start playing well, it's going to be tough.
I will say that I'm starting to be more in favor of bringing up Ethan Salas because no one's going to expect him to put the team on his back. He'll probably bat 8th or 9th if you put him in the order.
But if you bring him up now when your offense is absolutely terrible, then people will absolutely expect him to be the savior. I think a softer landing spot is if they start hitting a little bit.
But I think the idea of just kind of some youthful energy coming up, a different face. Teddy, remember when Benito Santiago was a rookie and hitting streak? That was a pretty electric debut for a catcher. And he was young at the time, too. When he came up, he was very young. We're about 20 years old, I think, when he first came up. Yeah.
very much so. And his name came up the other day in a discussion I was having on my podcast with Jim Laslovic about how great the Padre fans are. And I even told the fans, I got no reason to say this. I've had my career, and it doesn't matter to me. I can really be as honest as I was back in those days. And Benito was the only Padre that comes to my mind that I can remember who was booed. There was a big, I forget it, big lumbering reliever who would come in really slowly. I forget his name. Age is doing that to my brain. I can't remember, but those are the only couple of guys ever. And Benny had great talent, but very difficult at calling games and a lot of other things. And the pitcher used to give him a lot of gas, Trevecchi. And I mean, he'd go out to the mound and directly say, get off my mound. That kind of thing. You got nothing to say. You have nothing to say that I want to hear. It was that kind of dynamic, but he did have great talent. But patience is so important in baseball. And I would never tell AJ that. AJ knows that. Let me give you a stat that I never heard before, ever. I was dining with Padre executives from the early 80s, and one of them who was in the power situation to hire and fire. Go back to when they fired Roger Craig. And this executive said to me, what is overlooked with us, with all the crap that the organization had to put up with Jack McKeon, in terms of fighting with the business people and vice versa, and wanting to be manager and general manager, and what really was difficult times for the Padres in the front office. He thought that firing Roger Craig, who went on to the Giants, had great success, was a mistake. They should have been more patient, and it changed Padre history.
Yeah.
And yes, under Dick Williams and McKeon, give them credit, they and Ballard Smith at that time, the CEO, they built that 84 team, and that started it all, and they built the foundation. It was very, very important, but it was an interesting point that we should have been more patient. That goes for managers, coaches, and Ethan Salas's.
Teddy, really appreciate you coming in. We really
that was so
enjoyed
good.
that.
I loved it.
Do it again.
Lots of fun. Yeah, hopefully we'll get you back again later in our season. We will be off next Thursday. We got early Padres baseball in Philadelphia, so no roundtables for 2 weeks when our guest panelist, I believe, will be recently fired Padres hitting coach Steven Souza Jr.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Just kidding. That's it for us. For Uncle Teddy Lightner, for Stephen Woods, Braden Sopretin, and Chris Ello, I'm Ben Higgins. Thanks for joining us for our epic Padres Roundtable, brought to you by Epic Wings. Always fresh, never frozen, on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.